so that eliminate the prospect of background noise and other issues that would coming into play in this matter. So just for preliminarily, you should understand the following. This is a formal hearing, so we request and actually we really have to demand that you act as if you're in a courtroom. So that means no eating, no drinking, no reclining in your easy chair, no reclining in your bed. Men, please remove your hats, no smoking, etc. And we'd ask you to defer to the formal procedures of this hearing. We want everyone to have a fair hearing. So we need you to cooperate. Secondly, these hearings are recorded by a court reporter and the system itself so that we can create a formal record. Please do not overspeak someone. Everyone will be given an opportunity to speak and to present their case. The final matter is this. The law department will give us a list of matters that have been resolved, and in your case may be listed as moot or moot complied. If that occurs, your matter is done for the day. You don't have to stay around to the end unless you want to. But I'd ask you not to break into the hearing to get clarification as to what the difference between moot and moot complied. If you need to understand that, call the office. The administrator, someone in the office will explain that to you. So you don't need to do that, and we won't have to delay the hearings. We have a very long list today. We want everyone to be heard and every matter to be resolved. And that leads me to my final comment. We were all asked to be here at a certain time. It's now 12:59, but we have to hear everybody's case. So you may, in fact, be here until 4 or 5 o'clock. So please be patient. Understand that this is what it is. And just as if you were in the courtroom, your case gets called in order, and you have to be available that day to resolve matters. If you have an attorney with you representing your matter and you want to have a confidential conversation, please let us know. We will allow you to go into a breakout room to resolve it. If you feel you can negotiate a settlement before your case is heard, please indicate that, and we will ask the lawyer representing the city to confer with you in a breakout room. Our desire is to generate compliance with code violations and also to have everybody be treated fairly. Again, the board members who are here today will introduce themselves, and as well as the other panelists, after which we will hear from the law department to give us a list of matters that have been resolved or continuances that have been requested. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Again, I'm Kenneth Woodson, board chair.
Ralph Pincus, board member.
Beverly Penn, board member.
Ken Washington, board member.
Thank you very much.
Ryan McSherry, board counsel.
Wait, board administrator.
Thank you very much. So we'll hear now from the law department.
Good afternoon, Chairman Woodson. Jim Kelly on behalf of the city.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kelly. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay, what do we have?
So starting with number 1, 2023-2092, 7370 James Street, Michael Rossetti, moot.
Moot, thank you.
Number 2, 2023-2093, 7384-90 State Road, Michael Rossetti. That's an appellant's continuance request by his counsel that's unopposed by the city.
Okay, so we will continue that matter then.
Number 3, 2023-2100, 1538 East Susquehanna Avenue, Anthony and Nicole Tallarico. That's an agreement for a continuance of at least 90 days.
Okay, so this is the city's request for a continuance?
It's a joint request.
A joint request? Okay. All right, thank you. So we'll note it as continue.
Number 5, 2023-2107, 3265 South 61st Street, Alicia Sampson. That with appeal was withdrawn by the appellant.
Withdrawn. Thank you.
Number 6, 2023-2125, 5432 West Berks Street, Sharon Wilson, moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Number 7, 2023-2141, 1819 South 21st Street, Jin Yu Zhang, moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Number 8, 2023-2160, 5731 Market Street, Nadira Miles, moot.
Moot, thank you.
Number
Was that
nine-
address? Oh, my apologies. Was that 5731 Market Street?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Number 9, 2023-2208, 607 Glenview Street, Ivana Baran. That's an agreement for a city affirm with a 60-day stay of enforcement.
City Firm, 60-day stay. Okay.
Number
Thank you.
10, 2023-2214, 459 West Glenwood Avenue, Ibi Reyes, moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 11, 2023-2221, 6205 Jefferson Street, Rotimi Afuwape, moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Number 12, 2023-2222, 428 Wyota Street, Jafar Fares, moot complied.
Moot complied. Okay. Thank you.
Number 17, 2023-2232, and this is actually, it was written incorrectly on the list. It's 1469 North 57th Street, not 52nd Street.
Okay.
Uh,
57. Okay.
Appellant is Ziv Noah. That's an agreement for a city affirm with a $250 fine.
250. All right. Thank you.
Number 18, 2023-2244, 3119 Hellerman Street, Sunlight Realty LLC, moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Number 19, 2023-2280, 1209 Vine Street, James D. Bernardine, doing business as Kalu Entertainment LLC. That was withdrawn by the appellant.
Withdrawn. Thank you.
Number 25, 2023-2324, 2158 Homer Street, Julian Wilson, moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 29, 2023-2367, 52 Column Street, Molly Mendenhall, moot.
Moot. Okay.
Number 32, 2023-2398, 4957-59 Kershaw Street, Dwight Brown, moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 35, 2023-2412, 11853 Academy Road, number F2, Alexander Stern, moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 36, 2023-2433, 4614 Woodland Avenue, 4614 Woodland Partners LP, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 40, 2023-2473, 2035 Waverly Street, Nick Beninato. That was withdrawn by the appellant.
Withdrawn. Okay. Thank you.
Number 44, 2023-2478, 2006 South Redfield Street, Darlene Knight, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 46, 2023-2545, 638 Winwood Road, Louis, I'm just gonna read it or spell it, ILIOPOULOS, moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 47, 2023-863, 1802 Gladstone Street, Loretta Beswaldo, moot issued in error by the department.
Okay. Moot issued in there. Okay. Thank you.
Number 2020, number 48, 2023-1400, 2308 Aramingo Avenue, Georgia Shafia, moot complied.
Moot complied. Okay.
Number 49, 2023-1402, 2306 Aramingo Avenue, Georgia Shafia, moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 50, HA 2023-1403, 2310 Aramingo Avenue, Georgia Shafia, moot complied.
Thank you.
And number 51, 2023-1404, 2312 Aramingo Avenue, Georgia Shafia, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 55, 2023-555, 527 South 9th Street, Sophie Hunter. That's an agreement for a city affirm with a 30-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, we're just city affirmed 30-day stay. Okay, that's number 55, correct?
Yes.
Did you call number 54?
No, I did not.
Okay, my apologies. Okay, please proceed.
No problem. And the last one that I have is 56, 2021-4900, 260 South 16th Street, Ferraro Construction Group LLC, moot complied.
Moot complied.
And I do believe that colleagues of mine have others that may be resolved.
Okay, just before you proceed, though, I understand we received a late request for continuance from council on number 56. Oh, but your records indicate that it's moot complied, correct?
My records indicate that it's moot complied. Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe we'll hear from someone else. Okay, all right. As per our normal procedure, I'd ask anyone else with any additional information, preliminary information, to use the raise hand sign, and we will call you in order. Kristen Pass.
Good afternoon, Board. Kristen Patchell for the city. Chairman Woodson, I wanted to address number 41, which pertains to 3115 West Dakota Street.
Yes.
I believe the appellant asked for a continuance yesterday. However, this was written in error.
Oh, okay. So the status should be withdrawn, written in error?
That's correct, Chairman.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
what number was that?
41.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Jeffrey Cohen, please.
Good afternoon, members of the board.
Afternoon.
First, I actually want to make a correction about number 36, HA 2023-002433 at 4614 Woodland Ave.
Yes.
That matter is not actually moot complied. It's an SVN. So the SVN was issued on a specific date on which the violation existed. So later compliance, unlike an NOV, later compliance doesn't invalidate the SVN. So the city is prepared to move forward with that.
Okay, just before we proceed, though, just so I understand, is counsel for the appellant present? Is listed as Matthew Wolf.
I reached out to Mr. Wolf several weeks ago and heard no response, and last week sent an email with the city's exhibits, also receiving no response.
Okay, all right. There's been allegedly compliance with the SVN, but the SVN, as noted, still stands. Okay, all right, we'll hear it in order.
Thank you very much.
Anything else?
Yes, I'd like to bring up number 30, HA 2023-002374. As I noted in my email last week to the board and to the appellant Chantel French, Chantel French is the managing member of the owner, French Jones Connection LLC, but the property is owned by an LLC, which does need to be represented by an attorney before this board.
Okay,
I believe Ms. French is here today.
okay, now I have it listed as Chantel French DBA Caring for Kids Learning Center. Is that the same appellant?
It's the same appellant, although I believe that Caring for Kids is not the correct ownership entity. I'm not sure
Okay.
what that entity is.
Okay, Chantel French, are you present? If you are, please unmute. Chantel French. Okay, Mr. Wade, can you help me out? See if anyone.
Hi, yes, I'm here. I'm sorry, I couldn't figure out how to unmute.
Okay, ma'am, we need to see your image as well.
Oh, okay. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to do this thing. Yeah. How do I? Oh, God.
Okay, you're
Ms.
muted
French, you're
now.
muted.
Okay,
Hello,
okay, Miss French.
Yes.
hello. How do I withdraw from the hearing?
Excuse me, Ms. Einhorn, we're in the middle of discussion,
Okay,
so
I'll take
please
a
hold on. Understand? Please mute yourself, sir, and we'll get back to you shortly after
Don't
we
wait
finish.
for updates. Hold on. Oh, wait
Okay.
for-
Miss Chantel French.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, now, do you have an attorney representing you today?
No, I didn't know I needed an attorney.
Did you read the violation notices that you received?
Yes, I did.
They very clearly state if it's a corporate owned entity, you must have an attorney.
I didn't see that on there. I thought it was.
It's on there very
Okay.
clearly. This location at 3254 North 6th Street is owned by a corporation or LLC, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so an attorney must represent your interest in this matter. We can't hear it today. You gotta hire an attorney.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what is the name of the business operating there?
French Jones Connection LLC.
Okay. In both cases, the building ownership as well as the business itself are owned and operated by corporate entities, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
The building as well as the business are both owned by corporate entities.
That the building itself is under a LLC, but I manage the property individually.
But the business that's operated in that space is also an
There's-
LLC.
As an
No,
offer of
there's
proof,
not a
members of the
business in
board.
the space.
Okay,
there's
wait
not
a
a
minute.
business
Residential
in the-
property.
It's a
Oh.
residential property. That's why.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, but it's owned by an LLC, which means you need to have an attorney representing your interests. And are you part of that LLC?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we've asked that you be represented by legal counsel in these hearings.
Even if it's
That's-
a single member, like it's individually owned, like individually operated.
I believe the position still remains unless I'm advised differently by board counsel.
The position does still remain. It's an entity. It's the appellant is not the LLC. The LLC is a separate, distinct entity that requires counsel to represent it.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Okay, we'll have to reschedule this matter. It'll be continued for today. And I would advise you, please go back, take a look at those forms that you have, those violation notices, and read them closely so that
Okay.
you will be able to comply with everything that's required. Okay?
Okay, no problem.
All right.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, members of the board.
Okay,
if
Mr.
I
Cohen,
can-
anything else?
As one last matter or four last matters, I'd like to turn the board's attention to numbers 13 through 16. They're all the same appellant, David Nieves. They are appeals number HA 2023-002227, 002228, 002229, and 002390. And they each have four separate addresses, but it is the same appellant, and it's actually the same or similar matters under appeal. The matters under appeal are license violation notices issued to John Estrada. John Estrada has a master plumber's license. I believe John Estrada works for Rapid Router LLC, but the license is in Mr. Estrada's name as an individual.
Okay.
Mr. Nieves, however, filed these appeals, so the city is bringing a standing issue. Mr. Nieves is not an attorney and does not have standing to appeal on behalf of John Estrada, the individual.
Okay. And Mr. Nieves, are you present? David?
This is Kay. I'm one of the ladies that work in the office that's handling the case right now.
Okay, wait a minute. Please, your name is Kay.
Yes, my name is Kiana Wilkins.
Okay, now I don't see anyone by that name on my screen.
It should say Rapid Router K.
Okay, I need to see your image before we can talk to you.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am, what is your relationship to David Nieves and or John Estrada?
I'm one of the employees here.
Okay, you are not permitted to represent the interests of John Estrada at these hearings. John Estrada has to represent himself or have an attorney representing.
Okay. Dave Navias is here as well.
Pardon me?
David Navias is here as well.
He can't do it either because his name is not John Estrada.
Okay, so we
The
need
the license is in John Estrada's name, correct?
Yes,
And the violations were written to John Estrada.
correct.
So he has to present himself and or have an attorney represent him.
Okay.
Okay, again, Please read closely the violation notices.
Alrighty, thank you.
Okay, so for today, Mr. Cohen, what is your pleasure today, Mr. Cohen?
Respectfully, members of the board, because of the standing issue, the city respectfully requests a dismissal for lack of standing.
Yes. Mr.
Numbers
Nieves, is he
13 through 16.
okay? Mr. Nieves, is he present? Because we're gonna. He doesn't have standing to bring these to even file these appeals.
Yes, he is. They need you. I'm sorry, give me 1 second.
Hello,
Your name, sir?
David.
Okay, that's not helping me very much.
Nieves, Nieves.
Okay, and I'd ask you to remove your hat, sir. You're in court.
Okay.
Your hat.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Mr. Nieves, what is your relationship to this appellant? I mean, to this matter? These violation notices written to John Estrada.
I'm the owner
Okay, you're the owner of what?
of the company.
Okay, but the master plumber's license that received the violation is John Estrada.
Yes,
So what is your relationship to John Estrada?
that's my cousin.
Okay, all right. You don't have standing to submit an appeal because you are not John Estrada. John
Okay.
Estrada had submitted appeals and or have an attorney represent him at these hearings.
Okay.
Okay, so these matters. Someone's phone, please mute whoever's phone that is. So, sir, your these appeals will be dismissed today for lack of standing. You don't have standing to bring these appeals.
Okay.
Okay, and so I'll read each one. I just wanted to make certain that you were present when we did this. So we will read into the record HA 2023-002227 2115 Moore Street, David Nieves, dismissed for lack of standing. Appeal number HA 2023-002228 1122 Sloan Street, David Nieves, dismissed for lack of standing. Appeal number HA 2023-002229 5918 Cedar Avenue, David Nieves, dismissed for lack of standing. HA 2023-002390 5648 King Session, David Nieves, dismissed for lack of standing. Sir, depending upon what Mr. Estrada would like to do, based on time that has passed since the violation notices were written, he may want to refile these. Okay?
Mr. Nieves, you're still muted.
Sorry.
Okay, so thank you very much. Unless there's something else, we will move on to the next matter.
Thank you.
Okay,
And thank you, members of the board. That concludes my preliminary matters.
okay. Mr. Leonard
Chair-
Rowder.
Mr. Chair, before you call,
Yeah,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
before you call Mr. Reuter, can we just call, can we call case number 22?
What do we have?
An opposing counsel is requesting his continuance request be put on the record. He filed it a few days ago. He did have a pending matter, and I told him he needed to appear.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
Case number 20.
Who's representing the city?
I'll read it. And case number
Okay.
22, hearing appeal ending 2316, 2613 West Hunting Park Avenue, Ilya Rabovinsky.
Afternoon, Adam Barsky for the appellant.
Okay, and who's representing the city? Okay,
I think it's
Sorry, I had my thing off. Leonard F. Reuter for the city of Philadelphia.
okay, Mr. Rudder. Okay, Mr. Barsky, what is your request?
Thank you. We submitted a request for continuance in a timely manner, and I have a matter due right now in Philly Court of Common Pleas, and I would just like for the continuance to be placed in the record so I may proceed in the other matter.
Okay, Mr. Rudder, any response?
Yes, the city has no objection to this particular continuance request, but with the understanding that this particular appeal is only in relation to case number C, the L&I violation, case violation, CF 2023-044185 that was issued in May of 2023. This is HA this appeal is HA 2023-002316. There have been a number of other violations that have been issued to this property, including a pending cease operations order that have not been appealed in a timely manner. And this continuance request will have no impact on the city's enforcement in those other violations. But we
Okay.
will agree to this continuance of this particular appeal.
Okay, Mr. Barsky, you understand?
I do, to the extent that I'm representing 2316 at this time. There's nothing else in front of me.
I'm not sure what that means. Okay, 2316 is the appeal number. Okay.
Correct.
All righty. So we will note it as continued.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. All right. Okay. Mr. Rodgers, since we have you on, is there anything else that you would have for us today?
Yes, actually, I had a couple other things that I just want to get on the record. You should already have them. Let's see, you already did number 3. Number 20, HA 2023-002303 for 6300 West Passyunk Avenue. The city withdrew that violation, which was written in error, and I believe Ms. Quigley has already withdrawn the appeal for Brian Santiso.
Okay, we'll note it as withdrawn, written in error. Thank you.
And again, I wasn't sure because my thing wasn't working properly. Did you get 32 HA 2023 number 002398 4957 to 59 Kershaw Street?
Yes, as
Okay,
moot
yes,
complied.
that's moot complied. There was one other which I may have mistakenly indicated to Mr. Kelly, but that's actually is not a moot complied, and that is the last one of the last on the list, which is number 56. That's HA 2021-004900 for 260 South 16th Street. I understand that this one has been continued a couple times in the past. It's a 2021 violation and appeal. However, this has been tied up in litigation at the Court of Common Pleas. It continues to be tied up in litigation. And in fact, Mr. Miller, who represents the appellant Ferrara Construction Group, LLC, he was called to trial today. We had previously agreed that we would jointly request a continuance in this matter. We believe that the resolution of the lawsuit should resolve this. They are close to a settlement, is my understanding. But because he's been called to trial, he can't appear today anyway in this matter. And, you know, I'd ask the board's indulgence in granting one more continuance.
Mr. Ronald, I appreciate your stepping forward to give us some context here, because this matter will have been continued 6 times, and that's well beyond our general tolerance for continuances. And so, are you? This is a joint request. Is your position that this matter is being resolved, or is this you waiting till CCP issues an opinion?
We believe that it will be resolved by virtue of either a decision by the Court of Common Pleas or the settlement agreement. I can't get into the specifics of the facts of the case, but the litigation is between neighbors and it directly involves the subject of this appeal. And I think the number of continuances is just because, as you know, Mr. Pincus could explain, the Court of Common Pleas moves can sometimes move very, very slowly, especially that was the case during COVID. So I think that you know, maybe if we give it a little bit longer continuance this time, it should be enough time to get this knocked out.
Okay, Mr. Wade, let's give this a long continuance, so that hopefully this will be the last one.
Thank you.
6 months?
Yeah,
Good.
that sounds so good.
I actually have one final matter, which is not related subject matter to the last case.
Just
but,
one question, Mr. Chair. Just one question.
But that involves.
Wait, just one moment. Mr. Washington, what is that?
I have it marked as mute complied. That's the wrong.
That
that's
was
incorrect. That's
Yeah.
an error.
So we're going to mark it continued?
Yeah, continued for 6 months.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You also, for number 31, HA-2023-002389 for 3328 North 17th Street, Delancey Holdings LLC. There has been a request for continuance in that matter also by Andy Miller. For the same reason, he's been called to trial, and in addition, the city was unable to do a reinspection, so we would agree with his continuance request in that case. And I think that's a first request.
Yes, the only problem with that one is it came last minute, and that's creates some level. But the city in this instance is joining the request for continuance,
Yes, that'd be fine.
so we'd mark it as a joint request for continuance.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty, so let's move on to Mary Costello.
Good afternoon, members of the board. I have number 39, that's appeal HA 2023-002462-1522 West Loudon Street. That matter is moot complied.
Okay, Loudon Street. Okay, that's moot
Loudon Street.
compliant.
Yes.
Okay,
And then I also have number 52, HA 2023-001495. That was a continuance request on behalf of the city. It's the first continuance request for this matter.
okay. Excuse me. And so there's okay. So we would note it as continued. That's number 52. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Is that it?
That is it.
Okay. Mr. Kelly, you have some additional matters?
Just one, this is number 28, 2023-2331, 2447 North Hollywood Street, Tashima Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson did not put her phone number on the appeal, so I did not have an opportunity to reach out. If I could just be put in a breakout room with her, I do believe that she's on the call. That
Is
would be
she
great.
on the call now? Okay,
Yes,
Ms.
I'm
Johnson?
here.
Okay,
Hi.
Ms. Johnson, you available to go into a breakout room with Mr. Kelly?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please note your screen. The administrator will give you a breakout room.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, there was another request for an attorney, case number 42, just to see if there's an if someone is unidentified is here for case number 42, the city attorney was requesting a breakout room.
okay, that's give us the names of the address and the name, please.
Case 42, hearing appeal ending 2475, 228 Kenilworth Ave. Artavia Smith.
Anyone, is Artavia Smith present? Kenilworth Avenue. Okay, well, it appears that person isn't present, so we'll have to address that when we call the cases in order.
You're gonna go through your matters, and there was one
Yes.
there was one witness availability request to go first, but you have
Okay.
your matter to go through.
After I go through mine, then we'll deal with the availability matter. Okay. The board itself has a few issues it wants to address before we proceed. Just give me a moment.
Mr. Chairman, may I have a breakout room with the city attorney? I didn't hear my case called. I thought there was compliance.
Okay, Mr. DeMarco, what cases are you regarding number 36?
Tioga Street. Oh, Leonard's raising his hand. Is that you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, you can have a
Mr.
breakout room. Let's do that. You guys
Well,
want a breakout room.
Okay, so just so we know, I believe I have case number 4 on the list, which will be able to go forward. So you may need to bump that. I'm happy to go into a breakout room with Mr. DeMarco. I was actually going to request that, but I would also need Inspector Tamika Blair to go into the breakout room with us.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's fine. Mr. Wade, would you accommodate that request?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you also please put me in that breakout room?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 23, that's 2317-4528 North Smedley Street, Juan Betancourt. Is that person? Is that
Yeah.
appellant?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, sir. We have who's representing the city in this matter?
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city for this matter.
Okay. Mr. Betancourt, what is your relationship to that address?
I am the owner.
Are you the only person on the deed?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the problem we have here, sir, is that the violation notice was January 31 of 23. You didn't submit your appeal to May 21 of 23. Why is that?
I repair everything in the violation, and I don't understand because some at the 30 the the violation was closed, and later the same day was open again. I don't understand because everything was done.
Okay,
And
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Before we start taking testimony, the issue we have is timeliness. And so I just need you to respond to this matter of you received the violation in January of 23, correct? January 31?
January 21. I
Okay.
never received. I saw online.
Okay, so
I
you
saw
had
the violation.
you became aware of the violation that
Mhm.
was issued in January, but you
Yeah.
didn't submit an appeal till May. And the reason why you waited so long is why?
Because the violation the was complete, and I assume everything was okay.
Did you
But
get a
later,
reinspection? Did you ask for a reinspection?
I never see that happen.
Did you
But
ask? I'm asking you a different question. Did you call and ask for a reinspection?
I call and
Did
I
you get a
made
response?
and I left message because the inspector in charge never called me back, and I don't know exactly what is the number for the inspector.
Okay,
Because
so
what's the
so why did
violation.
you wait so long though? Why did you wait so long?
Because at the third at 29, the violation was closed, and I assume everything was okay, and the record is there. And the same day, I don't know why they made a new one. I don't know. I don't know what happened there because
Okay,
one
but you
was closed, and the same day one is open for
okay.
the same issue.
Okay. The problem here is that you were given 30 days to appeal the violation notice.
I understand.
And your appeal is several months late.
I think you received this and late, but I did immediately. When I saw the situation, I made the appeal online.
Your appeal is dated May 21, 23. Do you have a different date?
I don't have the confirmation now, but I did really early.
Okay, what date did you
And
submit your appeal?
I think about the February 14 when I saw the situation again.
Okay, let's do this then. Who's representing the city in this matter?
Yes, good afternoon. Amy Skiles on behalf of the city.
Ms. Skiles, what is your position here? Or do
We
you have
would,
one?
yes, we would have raised a timeliness objection and asked that it be dismissed as this appeal was not filed timely. The board is correct that these violations were issued January 31st of 2023. The NOV states very clearly that the appeal period ended March 2nd of 2023. And our records indicate that this appeal was not filed until May 22nd of 2023. So we would be asking that this be dismissed based on timeliness.
Ms. Skiles, is there anything in your record to indicate that this violation notice was opened and closed and reopened?
No, nothing that would. No.
Sir, Mr. Bencourt, please. I'm speaking to Ms. Skiles.
These, if called to testify, the inspector would testify that these violations, this violation number remains open. It was never closed. There was never, a notice of compliance or anything like that issued. And in fact, this property does remain in violation today.
Okay, thank you very much. Mrs. Smedley, the decision of the board is we're dismissing this for lack of timely appeal. So your appeal is dismissed. That's for HA 2023-002317 4528 North Smedley Street, Juan Battencourt, dismissed for the lack of timeliness. Okay, lack of timely appeal. Thank you, sir. That matter is resolved. Okay. I just want to make sure, sir, you understand what we just did, correct?
I want to be clear because my English.
Well, to be clear, we're not hearing it today. We're dismissing your appeal because you did not submit a timely appeal. 30 days. We have some discretion beyond 30 days, but not 4 months.
Okay.
Okay.
but the violation is already done. What can I do?
Well,
again?
you have to call and get a reinspection based on what the city attorney just represented. You haven't completed you haven't complied the violation. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay. All right. Mr. Kelly, you have something else for us.
Yes, just very,
I don't mean to be interrupting. I'm sorry, but I couldn't raise my hand. I needed to go into the breakout room for the Tioga Street with Richard DeMarco.
Okay.
Sorry, Cynthia, we're moot complied, so you can go.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry about that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, Mr. Kelly.
yes, this is for number 28, 2023-2331, 2447 North Hollywood Street, Tashina
Yes.
Johnson. We were just in a breakout room and we were able to come to a resolution. I don't know if it's signed or sent yet, but I will do that this afternoon and forward that to the board. It's a city affirm with a $500 fine.
Okay, so there's a settlement that's been reached for city affirm with $500 fine.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. So noted in the record.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, you're free to go.
Okay. Alrighty, Mr. Browder.
Hi. Sorry. Thank you. May it please the board, Leonard F. Reuter, again for the city of Philadelphia, and also with Richard DeMarco for the appellant. For we have a couple more cases we can now mark moot complied.
Okay, which one of those?
Number 26, which is HA 2023-002328, 2950 East Tioga Street, Tioga Real Estate LLC. That can be marked moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 27, HA 23-002329, 3040 East Tioga Street, Tioga Real Estate LLC. That can also be marked moot complied.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you. Those are my cases. I'll have a good afternoon. I may I be
Thank you.
excused.
Yes, sir. You may be excused.
Thank you. Thanks, Len. Take care, everybody.
Okay. All right. In terms of the matters that the board itself, it still has questions regarding number 24. That's 2322 1022 South 57th Street, Metro Real Estate Investments LLC. I believe there is a continuous request from counsel Eleanor Chen. Does the city have a position on that?
Amy Skiles, good afternoon. Amy Skiles on behalf of the city. I would have no objection. It appears from my records this is the first listing.
Yes.
I didn't receive that request. I would just ask that it be forwarded to me. I wasn't aware of Ms. Chen's email, so if I could just have her email for moving forward, I would appreciate it.
Okay. Mr. Wade, please forward that information.
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's move on then to number 37. 4 digits of 2434. The address is 5231-51 Belfield Avenue. Adamo Rogers. Adamo Rogers. Who's representing that matter?
Good afternoon,
the
members
city?
of the board. Mary Costello on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Ms. Costello, anyone present representing Adamo Rogers? Adamo Rogers. Mr. Wade, any name appearing on the screen?
I don't see anything at this time.
That's 5231-51 Belfield Avenue. Okay, Mr. McSherry, would you advise that we continue this matter for the council, or should we proceed? You're muted, Mr. McSherry. You're still muted.
I
There you go.
apologize. I mean, to the extent that no one is present, I think we should proceed.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
Give me 1 second for service.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah.
His appeal form was for 33 Chelmsford Court, Marlton, New Jersey. No, notice of the hearing was sent to that address on April 3rd, 2024.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
1:42 PM, 1:43 PM.
Okay, what is the city's preference?
Chairman Woodson, the city would ask then for a city affirm for failure to appear.
Okay, thank you very much. We will poll the board regarding HA-2023-002434, 5231-51 Belfield Avenue, Adamo Rogers, city affirm, non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirm, non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Let's move on then to number 45. Last four digits, 2534. Address 7340 James Street, Timothy Brady.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Mary Costello on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Ms. Costello, good afternoon. Mr. Brady, Timothy Brady, or anyone representing the interests of 7340 James Street. Timothy Brady. Okay, no one's responding. Mr. Wade, would you check for service, please?
Address listed on the appeal, 7342 James Street. Service was sent to 7342 James Street on April 8th, 2024.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Costello, what's your preference?
Chairman Woodson, we would ask for a city affirm for failure to appear.
Okay, time, Mr. Pincus?
1:44 PM.
1:44 PM. Okay, we will poll the board regarding HA-2023-002534, 7340 James Street, Timothy Brady, city affirm, non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirm, non-appearance.
Thank you very much. That matter has been resolved. Let's move now to number 53. 1380, address 1629 Womrath Street. That's WOMRATH Street. Phyllis Cordero. Phyllis Cordero.
Mary
Who's representing the city? Oh, Miss.
Mary Costello again. On behalf of the
Okay.
city of Philadelphia.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Miss Cordero. Anyone present? Cordero. 1629 Womrath Street. WOMRATH Street. Anyone present?
They are present, Mr. Chairman. They're muted.
Okay. Please
Under
unmute.
Jason- It's under Jason Cordero.
Okay. I don't see that person. Mr. Wade, can you help with unmuting the individual?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Now I can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Who is Miss Phyllis Cordero? Who's-
Hey, Phil Scudero.
You're
Yes.
Phyllis Cordero? Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give will be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Costello, the issue we have here is one of timeliness. You can place your hand down, Ms. Cordero. It appears that your violation notice was in January of 23, but you didn't submit your appeal until March of 23. Why the extended period?
Well, she asked me
No,
to
no,
take
I
it.
asked, no. The person who submitted the appeal is Phyllis, so I need her to respond.
Yes. I'm waiting for my son, my stepson, Jason Cordero. He's going to talk for me.
Okay, so the only person allowed to speak with any one of these hearings is an attorney. Is there any reason why you can't speak for yourself?
Because I don't know too much. I'm very slow,
Okay.
so I had to have my stepson to answer the questions.
Okay, Ms. Costello, you have any issues for this plenary matter?
I do. It was filed untimely, and the city does raise that issue. The date of the violation notice was January 27th of 2023, and this appeal was not filed until March 27th of 2023. And in fact, it was not filed by Phyllis Cordero. I believe it was filed by Jason Cordero, who would not have standing because he does not own the property.
Okay. So, I don't have it in front of me. Miss Costello, whose name is on the appeal application?
It's mine.
Excuse me, sir. I was asking the attorney. Please don't speak out of turn. Miss Costello?
The appellant's name is listed as Phyllis Cordero, but it's the appeal itself is signed by Jason Cordero.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. For this limited for the limited reasons of determining whether we're going to move forward today, I'm going to ask Mr. Jason Cordero to raise his right hand to be sworn in. Mr. Cordero, do you swear affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes,
Okay. Now, Mr. Cordero, what is your relationship to Phyllis Cordero?
I'm her stepson.
Okay. And what is your relationship to this property at 1629 Womrath Street?
Nothing. It's her property.
Okay. And I just have you, do you know anything as to why the appeal was submitted late?
She asked me to take care of it for her. By the time she gave me the letter, like 2 weeks after she received it, what I tried to do is I tried to go downtown to the municipal building and apply for the permit that they're requesting. By the time I got down there, they asked me for a copy of the deed. They asked for the hire an architect to redraw the property lines. So that took time. So once I knew it took time to do all this stuff, I said, okay, I called them. They said, well, we'll put in an appeal. So that's what I had to do.
Okay. The problem is that you did meet the deadline of 30 days. You're
Yeah.
months late. And so that's a problem, big problem.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm asking. Okay. Ms. Costello, do you have any position here before we make a decision?
The city's position would be that it's filed untimely and therefore should not be heard by the board today.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Miss Phyllis Cordero and Mr. Jason Cordero, this matter is being dismissed for a lack of timely appeal. You have to read the violation notice, and it's very clearly stated in the violation notice you have 30 days to appeal.
Yes.
You submitted your appeal months after the noted time. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. So this matter is being dismissed for lack of timely appeal.
What do we do now about the RV?
You will need to comply. You need to talk to the inspector about what compliance looks like. And if you need to proceed with zoning or any other, whatever's required, you should do that. I can't give you
Yeah.
legal advice because I'm not your attorney or an attorney. So you may want to consult an attorney. Mr. Pincus, you have something to add?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. I believe that's all of the preliminary matters that the board has. Anyone else from the city's law department have a matter that we need to discuss before we begin calling our cases? If not,
Did we decide about case number 54? Whether it is needed or not?
no, we haven't called that yet. We didn't make any decision about that one yet.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yes, and this is Jermaine Harris. I was wondering, I had to finish
Sir?
up another hearing.
Which case are you? You have to give us you can't speak until we can see you. We can't see you. And you need to tell me why you interrupted my hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to know if this case was called. It's HA 2023-1495.
What address is that?
817 South St. Bernard Street.
Let's continue.
It was continued.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry for disturbing you.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Mr. Wade, do we have anything that needed to be called out of order?
That matter was resolved while we were going through the list.
Okay, thank you. So I think we're up now at the top of the list, right?
Yes.
Okay, please call the next case.
Case number 4, hearing appeal ending 2101. 782 through 84 South 3rd Street, Nate Ross.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Thank you. Good afternoon. May it please the board, Leonard F. Reuter for the city of Philadelphia. Before we proceed, I think just before you called this case, I believe Ms. Skiles did have her hand up. I don't know if she still had needed
I
to
don't
say
see it.
anything.
Miss Giles, you have anything else you needed?
I did. It's not urgent, but I did want to just raise preliminarily, number 54, 1963 North 29th. It was continued in April, for the appellant to obtain counsel. I hadn't heard anything from appellant or counsel. I thought, I would just check in to see if counsel has been retained or if the appellant is present, to
Okay.
see if we could dispose of this early.
Okay, let's do this then. Given that we've already called a case, as soon as we finish that case, we will get to 54, okay?
Right, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Roder?
Thank you. I would also ask that the board, Mr. Rahim Hill be recognized. He's here. So he is the city's witness.
Okay, well, I just want to see if the appellant is present, Nate Ross.
I see the appellant here.
Okay. Okay, before we, okay. Mr. Ross, would you unmute yourself, please?
Hello,
Sir?
good afternoon.
Yeah, it appears that you're in a public restaurant or something. Is there a more private place you can locate
I'm
yourself?
I'm in my business, the New Wave Cafe.
Okay, but this is a court hearing. You can't work and attend a court hearing at the same time.
I'm not working, sir.
So I'm asking you, can you get into a more private space? Can you do that? You have an office or something you can go to?
I do not, sir.
Mr. Roder, do you want to proceed with this or continue till he can present himself in a different fashion?
I mean, it doesn't matter to us. I think this would be a fairly quick matter. He may want to turn the TV off, but
well, if there's background noise or patrons or whatever, that's not acceptable.
I don't think they're currently they're open at this
I
moment.
moved my TV so the camera's not behind me. I apologize.
Okay, Mr. Ross, as I said earlier, this is a formal hearing, and we expect everyone to present themselves in that fashion. Okay, so if you're at work, you have to take leave to attend the hearing. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm not working. I'm here waiting for you. I was on time
Okay.
at 12:30.
That's why I'd asked if you could go in your office and
No, we just don't have one. I apologize for that being the physical plan of my business, but we don't have one.
okay. All right, Mr. Roder.
Sure. This matter concerns a streetery located alongside this establishment at 2782 to 84 South 3rd Street. It is a business owned by Mr. Ross operating just under a fictitious name, so I don't think we have any issues with corporations with it being a corporate entity. However, I believe the issue here, and we'll have Mr. Hill testify about this in a moment, is that like many other businesses in the city, they had dispensation, city gave dispensation to many bars and restaurants throughout the city to open up a streetery during the height of the pandemic. But as most people in the city now understand, is that permission expired a while ago, actually going on a year now that's expired, and that anybody who wanted to retain a streetery needed to apply for permission from the city. First, they need to get paperwork from the streets department that would where the streets department would okay the placement of the streetery, the size, the location, things like that, and then they needed to get the actual license. So what happened here is that the streetery was allowed to operate for a period of time during the pandemic, but it is no longer licensed and it either needs to be removed or legalized. So with that, I have Mr. Hill here who can unmute himself. Thank you. Mr. Hill, could you just state your name and spell it for the record? Oh, first he'll need to be sworn in too.
Yes, Mr. Hill, raise your right hand, sir, so you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. Before we proceed, Mr. Ross, I need to swear you in as well. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I certainly do.
Thank you. Place your hand down. Okay, Mr. Roder, please proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Hill, could you just tell the board what it is that you do, what your title is?
I'm a construction engineer. I supervise outdoor dining unit, which we do a lot of the enforcement of streeteries and cafes.
Okay, and that was created in response to the streetery ordinance?
Yes,
Okay. And during the course and scope of your duties, did you become familiar with the property located at 782 to 84 South Third Street?
yes, I have.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask the board if I can share my screen.
Yes.
Okay, hold on, it will just take me a sec. And can everybody see this?
Yes.
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 Okay, thank you, great. Mr. Hill, is this, what is this picture showing?
The picture is showing a picture of a streetery that is located in the right of way. This picture is was taken from one of the sidewalk views.
Okay, and this is alongside this establishment's the address fronts on Third Street, and this is along the side street, is that right?
Yeah, yes, it's right along the side. It's a corner property, and it extends up the 782 to 84 South Third Street.
Okay, and is this Christian or Catherine Street? Do you know?
I believe that's Christian. I'm not sure what the side street is.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute then.
May I correct the
No,
record?
no, sir. No,
not
sir.
yet.
He's taking testimony.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't know why that's not. Just show another, and is this another view of the same? Mr. Hill?
I'm not seeing a change of photo yet.
Is that not showing up? That's great. Let me stop and restart. Sorry about that. My apologies to the board. Yep, that's the same one. Well, anyway, it looks like I'm having problems moving along the photos. So the streetery that we just saw in the photograph, that is in the cartway, is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And was this streetery permitted?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Was this operating during the pandemic era?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So did they have like the license or permit they needed to do that?
No, they didn't.
Okay. And since that time, have they applied for, have you checked the records to make a determination whether any new streetery license has been applied for?
I believe, could you give me 1 second?
Sure.
That was 782. I believe so. Yes. Yes, they have.
And when was that applied for?
We have a date of, we do this. Which date it was. Okay, submission. Bear with me 1 second. I believe that was reviewed in June of 23.
And what happened with that review?
That review needed some changes needed to be made to the plan in order to become into compliance.
Okay, and I take it those plans were not provided?
No,
Those
we
changes?
never received resubmission.
Okay, and has the application then expired or it's just sitting there?
It's just sitting there.
Okay, so and with respect to obtaining completing the process so they're currently at the stage where would still be under review by the streets department?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And then after that takes place, then they would get, if they get the approval from the streets department, then they would still have to apply for the license separately.
Right, they would be, it would be submitted to the Art Commission, and then when they pass the Art Commission's guidelines, then it would come back to Streets for a stamp, in which we would then forward it over, because it's a structure type plan, it would have to go to L&I at that point.
Okay.
So there's a process to it.
Okay, so they're currently in the still in the so they've been in the pre-approval stage at the streets department now for close to a year.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. I don't have any, well, okay, I'm sorry. One last question. So with the streetery being in the cartway, is it currently blocking parking spaces or
Yes.
lane of
yes.
travel?
Yes, it is. It is. It's in the parking lane.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, Mr. Ross, do you have any cross-examination of Mr. Hill based on his testimony?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay,
May I
please
make
ask.
may I make a statement before I ask?
No,
Mr. Hill
this is
something?
your opportunity to make cross-examination. After you've done that, and when the city is finished presenting its case, you may present your case. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
but at the
I
moment
didn't-
you're asking questions based on his testimony.
Mr. Hill, you stated that our application, excuse me, Mr. Hill, you stated that I did not have an original license during the COVID period. Is that correct?
That is correct.
We did have one. Would you like my number?
Sure. We weren't issuing any licenses at that time, so.
Yes, you did. You
for-
applied 130.
Okay, Mr. Ross, Mr. Ross,
Okay.
wait, Mr. Ross, the way this works, you ask a question, he gives you an answer. Even if you don't like the answer, you move on to your next question. Now, what you can do is hold that information to the time when you're making your presentation. Okay? You have any more questions?
All right. So yes, I do. So Mr. Hill, so your records indicate that I did not have during the COVID period. We had, to our records, not 1 but 2 years of a temporary license. You're saying you have no record of that to indicate that?
Not
Not
to my
showing that?
knowledge. Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
And if there was a temporary one, it is way past expiration.
I understand. I understand. I understand. I understand. But you said that I didn't have one, and I'll be able to show that I do. My
Okay.
next question is this. You also stated that we did not have our application in until June of 23 to apply for the real license that's currently we're talking about right now.
That was the last submission, and that submission included comments that needed to be corrected on the plans in order to be into compliance.
Right. We had made the original deadline of January 13 of 23. We were one of the few places that had made
Mr.
the
Ross,
deadline.
Mr. Ross,
Sorry.
ask the question and let him answer. Then you can.
Okay.
You will have a
Thank you.
chance. You will have an opportunity to make your presentation in a moment.
I'm trying to do the best I can, sir, Mr. Woodson. I apologize. I'm not trying to be rude to anyone, I assure you. I've been in business here for 39 years. I'm trying my best. So, Mr. White,
Mr. Hill, you asking Mr. Hill.
Mr. Hill, we did go back and forth with some emails back and forth. My records indicate that the last time that we went emailed, it went unanswered. So I responded and I never got an answer back. Can you tell me what your correspondence shows between us?
My correspondence shows that the plan that was submitted was reviewed and it was returned back to you, and we have not yet received any resubmissions.
Okay, it's to my knowledge that we did resubmit things with some answers, but okay.
Any more
we'll go from
questions?
there. All right, yes. So at that point, then we filed an appeal.
No. Any more questions?
Do you have record of me filing a timely appeal, sir?
I would not have access to that information.
The city stipulates that the appeal is timely.
Okay.
This appeal.
Would you also have information that was put out there by the city to all of us restaurant and bar operators that until someone was actually approved, that the city, as long as we had made a good faith effort to have an application in the QE, that we would then be given some rope? Are you aware of that, sir?
No, I'm not aware of any such information.
Then I thank you, sir, for your time, and I look forward to chatting with you some more in the future and trying to get to the finish
Okay,
line.
Mr. Ross,
That's my goal.
that's your last question, right? Okay. All right, Mr. Rotter, do you have any additional witnesses?
No additional witnesses for the city.
Okay. Thank you. Before we entertain questions from the board, I'd like to give Mr. Ross an opportunity to present his case, because I think we need to hear both his view of this before we ask questions. Okay, Mr. Ross, what do you have that you want to share with us?
Okay, so good afternoon. My name is Nate Ross. I've owned the New Wave Cafe since May of 1985. I've had sidewalk dining for 30 years on my property. When COVID happened, we were one of the few places that were able to pivot and actually stay in business. We, like everybody else, when the streetery or what anyone wants to refer to what they were called or what they were referred to during COVID, we actually applied and got the license. And it's my understanding that there were only 113 places in the entire city that had the legal license. We were one of them. And I can give you the license number, which I will do momentarily.
Okay, Mr. Ross, did you submit that as far as your evidence when you submitted your appeal?
No, I was not asked to submit anything. The only thing I was
Mr.
told
Ross,
to do was
Mr. Ross, Mr. Ross, understand this is your appeal. You need to prove your position if you want to prevail. So whatever evidence you had, it would have been great to submit it at the time of application.
Can I finish, Mr. Woodson? Please.
But did you hear what I said, though?
Yeah, yes, I did. But if you have to understand something, so if you let me give you some nuance here, I will. It may help you understand why I did and did not do what you're saying. Once we were in the QE, the city put about 200 bar and restaurant operators together in a Zoom call, which was covered by the press, including the Inquirer. Articles were written about it. And the city told all of us that were part of that meeting that as long as we were in the QE with a good faith application, understanding the Byzantine nature of 6 different agencies having to be involved in the process, and that especially the operators that had already had the license that you were supposed to have had during COVID, which we did, that the city wouldn't do anything to us until they finally got somebody approved and then would have a blueprint to then share with the rest of us. The legitimate, serious operators, sir, that took this incredibly seriously. Then, out of the blue, the city broke their word to us by our way of looking at things and sent us this notice of violation, okay? That was very vague, that had very little information, made no mention of being able to present evidence, just said that you had to file your appeal within 30 days or they would start fining you. I met the original deadline and again, made no mention of providing evidence or whatever. I'm looking, this is the document right here in my hand. And
sir, do you have the appeal? Do you have the appeal that you actually filled out and submitted?
Yes. Do you want me to read it to you?
No. I don't need you to read it to me. I need you to be aware that that's where, if you're going to submit, you're asked to submit whatever evidence you have to the other side, so they could see it before the hearing. This is a formal hearing, as if you were in court.
I understand that now, sir, but you have to understand something. This was filed 15 months ago.
But you aren't understanding what you're dealing with.
You're right. I don't. You're sir. I 100% agree with you.
I'm not sure why you didn't consult legal counsel to I'm not sure. I'm not sure why you didn't consult legal counsel who was familiar with administrative hearings. They would have given you a sense of how to proceed.
We were led to believe that we were going to get guidance for the process along the way. And I was actually hoping that that's what part of what was going to happen today was.
No. Today is not where you give guidance.
Clearly, I'm catching
Well,
on
let's do this. Would it make sense for us to continue this? Because this is not, you have information for us, but we don't have it.
Well,
yes, I have information, and I'd certainly like to talk to Mr. White and finally have a face to somebody.
We don't know who a Mr. White is. Who is Mr. White?
Excuse me, the gentleman from
Mr. Hill.
Pardon me, I just misspoke. Mr. Hill. Finally having a face on someone that I could speak to. Richard Montanez was my former contact there. that I had many conversations with about this.
Okay,
I have
let's
hundreds
do
of
this.
pieces of paper and
Okay,
information,
Mr.
and I
Ross,
want to do the right thing.
Mr. Ross, would you put on the record the permit number you say that you have? What is that?
Give me 1 second. I have to get it off the
So well, no, he's walking away.
Yeah. Okay. When he returns, Mr. Rod, I think we need to come up with a pivot here.
Yes, our temporary streetery number, license number was 849607. And it was originally effective 12/20/21, and it was good till the end. We renewed it once, and then it was good till December 31st of 2022. And then you were required to have your official application for the new and improved, and what we're talking about license now, which was due January 13th, 2023.
Okay.
And my business made that deadline.
Okay, Mr. Ross, I'm going to suggest to both you and Mr. Roder that we continue this hearing
Well-
because Mr. Ross, Mr. Roder, what is your reaction?
Well, again, I mean, the city's not, I mean, with respect to the fact that the city had open meetings with owners of food establishments, there were discussions that were had about the streeteries and sidewalk cafes and how they were transitioning from the pandemic era when they were allowed, for the most part, as long as they weren't obstructing traffic or pedestrians. So we're not really disputing that. I'm not sure what providing time to have that stuff. And again, if in fact there's been a mistake and they did have the temporary license, I can double check that, but it doesn't matter because that license still expired. Everything expired by the end of 22. So,
okay.
And
good
again,
point.
we already have recognized that there was a permit application submitted to legalize the streetery. The problem is that never happened. It never completed the process. So what we're willing to do is, rather than continue this matter, we would just simply, we're fine with the board marking this city affirmed and then a 90-day stay of enforcement. There's plenty of information online which we can provide in terms of the guidelines for getting the license for a streetery. I mean, it's pretty well spelled out on the city's web pages for the streets department. There's guidance, there's FAQs, there's permit application forms. I'm not sure what additional guidance needs to be provided. We can't personalize this stuff.
Okay.
We put it
Understood.
out there. So we would be fine with just a 90-day stay of enforcement, and just that should be enough time to complete. And again, as Mr. Hill has already testified, the application hasn't expired. It's just sitting there because it's not been responded to. He can follow up. Mr. Montañez, to the best of my knowledge, is still there as head of the right-of-way unit at Streets. If he needs to follow up with him, that's fine. So that's what I would suggest, rather than continuing it,
Okay.
because I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other, whatever the board.
Understood. Mr. Ross, what additional information do you have regarding your current application?
Well, we responded to the city's.
No, answer the question I asked you. What's your current understanding of the status of your current application? The one that Mr. Hill has testified to that has not been processed, but you aren't listening to me. Let me finish. Let me finish. Mr. Hill has testified that your application was reviewed, plan review, wrote back to you to say that we need some additional changes. I need to understand your current understanding of those changes.
We responded to that email and have never gotten a response back from his response.
Okay,
That
the
is-
city doesn't have any record of that response.
I certainly have those emails and everything as part of my record keeping here. And as you can see, sir, I'm taking this very, very, very seriously. The city still, to my colleague in the law department, he's being incredibly unfair to me personally.
But Mr. Ross, Mr. Ross, no, Mr. Ross,
The whole history of the city
Mr. Ross, we're focusing our attention strictly on the details of your case, the details of the circumstance around your matter. The wider discussions that the city administration may have had or with the hospitality industry is understood, but that's not part of the case now. The case that you have, that's sir, that's what I'm trying to say to you. The case you have now is different. We're asking for very specific responses. And if you haven't heard from them, maybe your architect and or the other professionals you've used may have heard or should be advocate. I don't know what that is. I can't read it. It should be advocating on your behalf because at the moment it's just languishing. Now you don't want that to happen. And so we've been asked to decide because of your appeal whether or not the city properly issued a violation notice. And so your job is to convince us that the city did something that it should not have done, which is to write a violation notice. What evidence do you have that city did not write a proper violation notice?
I believe I have emails that I've written back that were never returned answered.
Okay.
So I would offer the board, I ask you, sir, politely and respectfully, to give me the continuance, to give me a chance to then rewrite back to Mr. Hill's department and refresh my memory, give me the slight benefit of the doubt, okay? And then if I'm not prepared the next time you give me this opportunity to have a hearing, then I would deserve everything that you have coming to me. I will also further submit to you, sir, I have not wasted the time that's been presented to me here while I've been what I thought was waiting to be able to make another case. I've, in the meantime, gotten 300 of my neighbors' signatures to ask them whether they liked what we are doing. I've gone to my Queen Village Neighborhood Association organization. They have held a public hearing in support of not only us, but exactly what we have and what we've been doing. Yeah. And we've also had a recommendation from Councilman Squilla. And at the end of the process, because I'm outside of the automatic renewal zone, I'm going to need an ordinance written by him either way.
Okay,
So
Mr.
I
Ross,
ask you for a little bit of a courtesy.
Mr. Ross, all those things you just noted are good and important, but they're irrelevant to the hearing because they bear no weight on our interpretation of what the code requires. And we're strictly looking at whether or not there's code compliance. And so all of your focus for our hearing should be on code compliance. Right. And you may want to consult an attorney, maybe you should have before now, or have your architect present to be a witness. It's a formal hearing on whether or not the code compliance has occurred. Strictly, that's all we're doing.
So,
But wait, okay. Mr. Ross,
Sure.
I just want to hear from Mr. Rotter.
Yeah, again, I mean, like I said, if a 90-day, city affirmed with a 90-day stay or whatever would be reasonable, that's fine. If the board wants to just continue it, that's fine too. We would rather that Mr. Ross follow up with streets and complete the application. He's likely to get approval if everything is submitted. He can certainly seek the private ordinance route with Councilman Squilla, whatever he wants to do, but we would rather that he spends that if it's continued, that he use that time to try to get this legalized rather than prepare for the appeal, because hopefully we won't need to come back. Hopefully he'll get his license or he'll get the streetery approved one way or the other, and we won't need to have another hearing. So whatever the board wants to do, we're fine.
All right, I just want to ask a community, not yet, Mr. Ross, not yet. Mr. Hill, the information that you referenced regarding the status of the plans, is that in Eclipse?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Mr. Ross, do you have an Eclipse account?
Yes.
Have you communicated to the city via Eclipse?
No, I've been communicating via email.
No, Mr. Ross, that's the problem. You should be communicating to the city in terms of your application via Eclipse. That's where all that communication.
That's not what the process has been for us. There's an email.
Mr. Ross, listen to me.
The other information is in Eclipse, but the communication between
Mr. Ross
department and us is through a different email, sir.
Okay, Mr. Ross.
With you. You're not correct.
Mr. Ross, go.
Yes.
You can't do it now, but go into your Eclipse account and see if, in fact, you have a communications from the city regarding the status of the plans. And if it's there, then that's where you need to respond to the city.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. And I do have an architect and I do have an engineer, sir. I have plans, things that are all submitted. Unfortunately, my architect at the moment is in Korea, which is why he is not here with me today for this hearing. He's having a custody battle for his
Okay.
child.
All right.
in
Well,
Korea. So-
that's not
so-
relevant
but
to
anyway,
tonight.
if I may, one last thing, sir, if you indulge me and are thoughtful enough to give me a continuance, okay, for this appeal, okay, I assure you I will not waste the time in between whatever date you give me and now. I promise you I will not waste that time. and I
Well,
will
what is your argument?
actively communicate.
Well,
actively communicate.
let me ask you this. What is your argument that supports your appeal today? Why are you appealing this violation notice?
Because why am I appealing the violations? Because I feel that there is plenty of give and take in our design production with the streets department in the city, that with some common sense one-on-one tweaking, that we will get to what is a satisfactory outcome for both the city.
What did the
and all
violation notice
departments,
say
the
to you?
city streets department and
What did the violation notice say?
doesn't. It just says you're in non-compliance. It's
The
it's
violation
very
notice.
vague.
No, it
It
says
has
more
no-
than
It
that.
has no nuance. It has no nuance. to
It doesn't.
sir.
It says more than that. It references the code, etc. I believe. Correct, Mr. Hill?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Take a look at the violation. Would you read the violation notice, or Mr. Rod, if you could put that up, please?
Sure. Just give me a sec.
I'll read it to you if you want.
No. He's going to put it up on the screen.
Okay.
If you
Yeah,
can.
if I can.
Yeah.
Just give me a sec. All right.
Look, I
No,
recognize
Mr.
everybody.
Ross. Mr. Ross, we are being recorded as a court reporter. You can't just speak out.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So it is a copy that's attached to the appeal. This is the, can you see this, by the way?
Yes. Yes, we
okay,
can.
I
great.
can, yes.
All right. This is the violation notice issued by, you'll note, Department of Streets, then Commissioner Carlton Williams. Says he's ordered to correct the following violations within 30 days of the date or may be fined, et cetera, et cetera. He took a timely appeal. There are no fines accruing. It was inspected March 15th.
Okay, because he had inspection to right away. Okay, but in the property, right?
But it gives you no other nuance, is what, as I said.
There are right there, the unlicensed streetery in the right of way. That is one reason, because there's no license there. And the other was an illegal encroachment in the right of way, meaning the actual structure being there.
Okay.
And it doesn't have a license. That's why you were issued the NOV.
And the codes were noted in the correspondence.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I guess if I may add, but for me, if you're Nate Ross, your New Wave Cafe, the nuance of what then we could shrink or change or alter, we didn't know what to do.
Nate Ross, Nate Ross should call a professional and say, how do I respond to this? And Mr. Ross, you're speaking over me again.
I apologize, sir. I'm really not trying to. It's been a long process for us.
You call a professional, and the professional will help you determine a strategy to respond. I'd like to have the board join me in a short off-the-record executive session. We will be back in a moment before we determine our next decision on this matter.
Mr. Hill, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can I get your email so I can reach out to you?
It's
That's fine.
You ready?
Yeah.
It's RAHIM. IIM.
Yep.
.HILL.
Yep.
At phila.gov.
PHILA.gov. RAHIM.HILL at PHILA.gov.
That's correct.
Great. I look forward to reaching out to you.
I
Okay.
look forward to hearing from you.
Look,
Thank you.
I'm here 39 years. I got 30 people. We survived COVID. I got 30 people back working for me. We want to follow the rules, okay? Just if you were us and you've been through so much with this, and 6 different people in 6 different agencies give you 6 different answers, you don't know what's what.
Okay, we shouldn't really be talking off the record here, so thank you.
But yes, sir, I will point out to you too, that because we are outside the automatic zone, we do have to have an ordinance written for us either way.
Yeah,
I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you knew that.
Since we're on a break, I ask a question.
Sure. To me, oh.
Wait, who's talking?
Hold on, let me put my picture up.
No, everybody needs to remain muted while the board's away.
Legal counsel of your own, engage legal counsel of your own to help you with this process of determining what to do next. There's a lot you can do, a lot you have done, but you need the guidance of experienced individuals who do this on a regular basis. Understood? So the record would note that it's a 60-day continuance.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank the board for taking into account my somewhat ignorance of what was going to transpire today.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Oh, and
Do I expect I'll get something in the mail, sir?
Yes, you will.
And may I excuse Supervisor Hill?
Yes, but in the meantime, before anyone leaves, Mr. Ross, if you do not have a way to contact Mr. Hill, that's the second mistake you're making today.
We talked about that while we were away. We didn't waste our time.
All right,
May
thank
I be
you.
dismissed, sir? May I
Yes,
be dismissed,
absolutely.
sir?
Mr. Hill, you're dismissed. Mr. Ross, please have your excuse.
Have a
Mr.
safe
Roderick,
day, everyone.
yeah,
Best of
Mr.
luck to
Roderick,
everyone.
unless you have another matters before us, you excuse as well. Okay, Mr. Wade, what do we have next?
There was a request for a witness, but I believe for witness availability, but I believe Amy was going to put something on quickly.
Okay, Ms. Skiles?
Yes, good afternoon. I just wanted to briefly address number 54, HA 2023-001508, 1508, 1963 North 29th Street. I know this matter was continued once before for an appellant to obtain counsel.
Yes.
I haven't heard anything from appellant about counsel, so I just wanted to kind of raise that as a preliminary matter
Sure.
to see if anyone is here on behalf of appellant if counsel's been obtained.
Quentin Jones, regarding 1963 North 29th Street. Quentin Jones. Is anyone present? Is Mr. Jones present? Anyone else representing the interests of 1963 North 29th Street? No one is responding. Mr. Wade? Yeah.
Mr. Jones listed 5214 Pulaski Avenue on his appeal. Service was sent to 5214 Pulaski Avenue on April 10th, 2024.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Skiles, what is your preference?
Yes, as there has been, as the appellant has not appeared today, we would ask that the appeal be dismissed for failure to appear.
Thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
2:36 p.m.
2:36 p.m. Okay, we'll pull the board on HA-2023-001-508 1963 North 29th Street, Quentin Jones. City affirmed, non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. That matter
Hello,
has
yes,
been resolved.
I'm here. I'm sorry, I'm here.
Your name, sir?
My name is Samira Ode. I'm the new owner for 1963 North 29.
But, sir, you did not submit the appeal, did you?
Yes,
Your name is not on the appeal. Quentin Jones's name is on the appeal.
yes, the tenant Jones, but he's not coming because I'm the new owner to know what's going on with the violation, something like that.
Okay.
Either way,
Well, let's ask him. Sir,
yes, yeah.
yeah. Sir, give us your name and spell your last name, please.
Samira, it's my wife, Samira Odi.
And what is your name?
My name Talib Zagzoug.
You need to spell that.
The first name, T like Tom, A like Apple, L like large, E like Edward, B like boy. First name.
Last name.
Zagzoug, Z like zebra, A like apple, Q like quiet, Z like zebra, O U Q. Zagzoug.
Okay. Raise your right hand, sir. Do you
Yes.
swear affirm the testimony you give be the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is your relationship to this property at 1963 North 29th Street?
Yeah, the owner Samira Odi, my wife.
Where is she?
She's in the home now because I'm left the car, but she's in the home now.
Okay. Couple things. The person who's on our form, Quentin Jones, has to be present to respond. You cannot respond on his behalf. Okay. Quentin Jones is not present. The second thing, the property is owned by a corporation, correct?
No, it was in a corporation, but now it's a personal with my wife.
Okay. Ms. Skiles, the violation notice was written to who?
Just a brief second.
Was Fair Hill?
Oh, wait, sir. No speaking yet. I'm asking for the
The
lawyer.
violation that was appealed, the violation notice that was appealed was written to Fairhill Capital LLC.
Okay.
However, that I believe is was the record owner of the property. I believe the appeal was filed by the operator of the property, which is also an LLC, which is why it was continued at the last court date. The violations were not appealed by the owner, but the operator, as they did have a right to do because it was an intent to cease.
Okay. Is the operator Quentin Jones with it?
I believe he is, yes, he is the operator.
And the LLC's name, do you call?
It was, just one second. I know it was Q the Tire Doctor.
LSQ, the car doctor. Okay. All righty. Okay. Given that Mr. Jones or anyone else representing Mr. Jones, legal counsel, is not present, the decision by the board stands. Mr. Zig, I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. Sir,
Zagzoug.
Zagzoug, you will need to submit your own appeal if you have an appeal to a violation notice. The appeal that was submitted by Mr. Quentin Jones has been dismissed because he didn't appear. And he didn't have, not only that, he was told the last time he came here, he needed to have a lawyer representing him. He's not done that either. So if you want to submit an appeal, you may do that based on the violations that may still exist or not. Understood?
I understand, but I need to make sure because I'm a new owner.
Well,
What
as
the
a new owner, you need to look at the records on this property. And if you feel that the violation notices should be appealed, then you'll need to submit an appeal.
Okay.
Okay. But for the moment, for this purposes, this matter has been resolved because Mr. Jones did not appear.
So when I make the appeal about the zoning or just for violation?
Whatever appeal you believe that you need to make. I can't give you advice as to what you should do. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Have a good afternoon. So,
Thank you.
Ms. Skiles, that matter is resolved.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Wade, what do we have next?
There was a request to hear matter, which I think is the next matter, case number 21.
Okay.
Hearing appeal ending 2309 5211 Filbert Street. Richard, no.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Jeffrey Cohen on behalf of the city of Philadelphia for this matter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cohen. Who's representing Richard Go? NGO. 5211 Filbert Street.
Yes, Mr. Nago is here. I'm Bernard Savage. Mr. Nago, he's the owner of the property.
Okay, Mr. Nago will have to be the spokesperson. Mr. Savage, good afternoon.
Hello.
Okay, Mr. Nago, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn?
Okay.
The other right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you place your hand out. Now, because this is a formal hearing and we have a court reporter recording everyone's voice, we can't have individuals speaking to one another while the mic is open. And we need to have Mr. Nago's face. And if we could change the title, the label on the screen to his name, it'd be helpful for the court reporter. If you can do that. Mr. Savage, I assume you're in your office?
Correct. And just a note, Mr. Nago doesn't speak very clear. He's Cambodian. He doesn't speak real clear English. That was why we were unaware that an attorney needed to represent him since he's an owner. He's not a corporation. So I thought I could assist him, but
not on the screen you can't. Now, one thing that could happen, we can get a Cambodian translator. That's how we handle these. So if he needs a translator, we can do that.
okay.
Now, that may be the way to do it, is to continue this matter so translator can be engaged to provide that kind of assistance.
Actually, I was going to insist, Chairman Woodson, if there is a language barrier, just to make sure that Mr. No is able to be heard properly, a Cambodian translator would be necessary. I would also note for the record, I do not believe that Mr. Savage is an attorney.
No, I'm not.
I wanted to ask what his role was in this, since he won't be representing Mr. No.
Okay, so let's get the preliminary matter out of the way, which is, Mr. No, I believe based on Mr. Savage's representation as well as Mr. Cohen's response, we're going to continue this to get you a translator so you can speak directly for yourself. Understood?
Could I just he has an attorney. We didn't know that an attorney was needed for this setting because we submitted some documents for this hearing that he has a tenant squatter in his building. We submitted those documents. He had retained Mr. Scott Sigmund, an attorney who's working on the eviction process.
Okay.
All of the related violations are from the tenant's squatting. The tenant went in.
Okay, I can't hear anything else though, because it's putting certain facts in the record.
But he has an attorney we can have for the next hearing.
Let's do
Chairman
this,
Woodson and the board, I will note there is an attorney in a court of common pleas matter, but there is no attorney that I'm aware of representing Mr. No here.
Okay.
If by the next hearing, Mr. No wishes to retain an attorney, he can do so. But since the property is in his name as an individual, he does not need to do so.
Okay. He doesn't need an attorney, but no one else to speak for him but an attorney. So what we will do, we will continue this matter to allow the city to secure the services of a Cambodian translator. And if Mr. No wants his attorney to represent him, that attorney should submit an appearance so he can be noted in the record and come prepared to present his case. Okay, so for today, we're going to continue it for those purposes. Okay.
Thank you very much, members.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Savage. Appreciate good seeing you again.
All right, take care.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
yes.
Excuse me, how long will the continuance be for?
The administrator will get back to you with a response.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, yes, and I believe we still have a quorum. So absolutely, Mr. Washington. We still have 3 people. Yep.
There was a request for cases 42 and 43 to be called.
Okay, let's move on to that.
We're done?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Have a good afternoon. Okay.
We apply to here?
Case number 42, hearing appeal ending. Hearing appeal ending 2475, 228 Kenilworth Avenue, Artavia Smith.
And good afternoon. This is Kristen Patchell for the city.
Good afternoon, Ms. Patchell. Anyone present representing 228 Kenilworth Avenue? Artavia Smith. Artavia Smith. Okay, no one's responding. Mr. Wade, please,
Ms.
sir.
Ms. Smith listed 228 Kenilworth Avenue has her address on her appeal. Notice was sent to 228 Kenilworth Avenue on April 5th, 2024.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Pasha, what is your preference?
Chairman Woodson, we would ask for a city affirm due to failure to appear.
Thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
2:47 PM.
At 2:47 p.m. Alrighty. We will pull the board on HA 2023-002475 228 Kenilworth Avenue, Artavia Smith, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
Thank you very much. That matter is resolved. Ms. Paschal, have a good afternoon.
43 is mine as well.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's call that one, Mr. Wade.
Case number 43. Hearing appeal ending 2476, 5839 Angora Terrace, Rashim Overton.
Okay. Anyone present? Rashim Overton. Rashim Overton.
Mr. Overton listed 5839 Angora Terrace as his address on his appeal. Notice was sent to 5839 Angora Terrace on April 5th, 2024.
Okay. Your preference, Ms. Paschal?
Yes, Chairman Woodson, the city would request a city affirm due to failure to appear.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
2:48 PM.
2:48 p.m. Okay. We'll pull the board regarding HA 2023-002476 5839 Angora Terrace, Rashim Overton, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
Thank you very much. That matters resolved. Ms. Paschal, I think that's your last one.
No, I have two more, Chairman Woodson.
Oh, okay. Okay. All righty. So what's the next matter, Mr. Wade?
I have matters 33 and 34. I don't know if they're taken together, if they are individual, but matter 33, hearing appeal ending 2409, 2233 Tulip Street, Joe Enrico. And case number 34, hearing appeal ending 2410, 2233 Tulip Street, Joe Enrico.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon again, Kristen Patchell on behalf of the city.
Ms. Patrick, good afternoon. Joe Enrico. Anyone present representing Joe Enrico?
Here.
All right, sir. Would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Sir, before we get started, what is your relationship to this property at 2233 Tulip Street?
I am the owner of the property.
Any other name on the deed in addition to yours?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Pasha, do you have a witness?
I do, Chairman Woodson. The city would call Inspector John Buoncristiano, but just as a preliminary matter, I'll defer to the board. I could present these together. Inspector Buoncristiano is the inspector for both matters.
Okay, are these essentially the same set of facts?
They're two separate SVNs that were issued for the same property on the same day, Chairman.
Oh, okay, so these are both SVNs.
That's correct.
Okay, already.
Mr. Woodson, hi, my name is Paul Mizaki. I'm here also with Mr. Enrico, Ms. Patchell.
Wait, sir. What is your role in this?
He will be my witness.
Okay, sir. So if you're going to be a witness, then we'll call you when it's time for you to testify.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, then we'll swear you in, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And actually, while we're talking, why don't you raise your right hand so I can swear you in now? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give be the truth so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You just place your hand down. The way we will do this is that the city will present first. We'll put his witnesses on and put their facts in the record. The appellant, Mr. Enrico, will have an opportunity to cross-examine the city's witness. After that, Mr. Enrico could put his case on and call his witness. And that witness, of course, will have to be cross-examined by the city's attorney. And both witnesses may or may not be examined by members of the board. So that's how we will proceed. After that, board will confer, then we will vote on the outcome of the case. Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Paschal, please.
Chair, Mr. Chair, before you start, do you want me to still sit out some more?
Oh, no, we're just getting started.
On the record.
We're just getting started, so you're back in the record.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Washington is back with us. Okay, Ms. Paschal, please present your witness and proceed. We will hear this case as one. We hear the violation notices as one. Just point out, Ms. Paschal, which issues we're contending with, okay?
Yes, Chairman. The city would call Inspector John Buoncristiano.
Yeah.
Ms. Cristiano, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. You can place your hand down. And I would ask you, sir, if you could adjust your screen so your face is completely visible to us. Yeah, that helps a lot. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Paschal?
Yes. Good afternoon, Inspector.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Where are you currently employed?
License and inspection, Central East.
And what is your title?
Building inspector, so CPRS.
And can you describe for the board what your roles and responsibilities are as part of that job?
Answer complaints, do inspections for buildings, mechanical, plumbing, do complaints on right-of-ways, construction debris, working without permits. That's basically it.
And Inspector, as part of your duties with the Department of License and Inspections, did you go out to 2233 Tulip Street?
Yes, for a complaint.
Okay, and what was the nature of that complaint?
The complaint said that they were parking on the pavement and trash and debris on the sidewalk.
Okay, and was that on May 8th that you went out, Inspector?
Yes.
When you arrived at the property on May 8th, can you describe for the board what it was that you saw?
Scaffolding on the sidewalk, trash and debris underneath the sidewalk, and guys doing work, and all the windows were covered.
Okay, and why was it a problem that the windows were covered?
You can't see no permits when everything's locked, when everything's blocked up.
Okay. And just to circle back to the first thing you noticed, the scaffolding, why was that an issue, Inspector?
Blocking the sidewalk, right-of-way permit.
Now, Inspector, did you issue 2 different SVNs in relation to what you saw at this property?
Yes, because you can only put 1 violation per SVN.
Okay. So, Inspector, I want to direct your attention to the first SVN that you issued, which correlates to number 33 on this list. Would you recognize that if you saw it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And permission to share my screen?
Yes, sir.
Do you see this, Inspector?
Yes.
Okay. I want to direct your attention to the responsible party on this SVN. Who was this SVN issued to?
Joseph Enrico.
Okay. And what was the date that it was issued?
5/8/2023.
And I want to call your attention down to the code section. What specific part of the Philadelphia Code was violated?
The right-of-way permit.
Okay. And can you describe for the members of the board what the language describes as needed with regards to a right-of-way or walkway?
A walkway. Can I blow this up?
Yeah, of course. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. Does that help, Inspector?
There we go. Yes. A walkway shall be provided for pedestrians to travel in front of every construction and demolition site unless the applicable governing authority authorizes the sidewalk to be fenced or closed. Walkway shall be sufficient to accommodate pedestrian traffic, but in no case shall be less than 4 feet in width. Walkway shall be provided with a durable walkable surface. Walkway shall be accessible in accordance to Chapter 11 and shall be designed to support all imposed loads, and no case shall be designed of live loads less than 150 pounds per square foot.
Okay. And is this the SVN that you issued, Inspector?
Yes.
And just for the record, this is marked as C1. Inspector, what is the statutory fine for this violation?
$2,000.
Okay. Now, Inspector, when you went out on May 8th, did you also take photos of the violations?
Yes,
And would you recognize those if you saw them?
yes.
I'll direct your attention to what has been collectively marked as C2. And I'm going to zoom out just a bit. Do you recognize what's on screen, Inspector?
Yes.
And can you describe for the board what it is that we're looking at?
Construction debris and a scaffolding that's not even installed right, and no right of way, no signs for people to cross, no protection, nothing.
Okay. And Inspector, you took more than one photograph, so I'm going to scroll down to the second photograph. I think this indicates a little bit clearer what part of the sidewalk is left.
Yes.
Would you say that that was 4 feet?
I don't have a tape measure, so you can tell. But if there was a tree and there was a tree and a cutout there also, which you don't take that into account. But
So let's go down to the last picture here.
you can see it right there in the corner of the side of the picture, a little black spot up top, right where you're right there. You just passed it. That's where the tree is, and that's not even 2 feet.
Okay, so indicating for the record that about midway through the last photograph of C3, there's a space between the scaffold and the street that's less than 2 feet. Is that fair to say,
Yes.
Inspector? Okay.
Yeah, well,
And
there's not between the street, there's a tree there, which doesn't count as walk space because there's a tree. You can't get around it.
okay. And why specifically does this setup violate the Philadelphia Code?
Safety for pedestrians.
Okay. And is it your testimony today that that walkway is not of sufficient space?
Correct.
Okay. And just to make the record clear, Inspector, can you just point out again where specifically the walkway would not be sufficient?
From the end of, well, where the trash debris is actually sticking out, but from the end of the scaffold to the curb.
Okay. And lastly, I'd just like to direct your attention to the last photograph here. What is it that we're looking at?
Debris, trash, everything. It's all under and sticking out all over the place. It doesn't, it's not a safe work area at all.
Okay. Now,
yeah, I'm sorry.
no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. You can finish, Inspector.
In the code, it even says the site must be maintained and kept clean at all times.
Okay. Now, you also testified that you issued a site violation notice for lack of posting of permits. Is that correct?
Correct.
And would you recognize that site violation notice if you saw it?
Yes.
Okay. And just for the record, this will pertain to number 34 on today's list. Going to what has been pre-marked as C1 for number 34. Do you recognize what's on screen, Inspector?
Yes.
Okay. And is the responsible party again Joseph Enrico?
Yes.
Okay. And calling your attention down to the part of the code that was violated, what section was violated?
A302.8, posting of permits.
Okay. And drawing your attention to the specific code language, what exactly is required with respect to posting of permits?
Permits and license shall be kept on premises designated therein at all times and shall be readily available for inspection by the code official. A true copy of all permits or notice of permits issued by the department authorizing construction activities shall be posted on the site of the operations open to the public. Inspections during the entire time of the prosecution of the work. Am I reading this? For which the permit has been issued. Department shall be authorized to establish regulations for additional posting and signage requirements related to the construction.
Okay. And is this a fair and accurate copy of the SVN that you issued?
Yes.
And what is the fine amount for this?
$300.
Okay. Now, Inspector, we saw previously that you took photographs when you went out on May 8th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'll draw your attention to what has been pre-marked as C2. Do you recognize what's on screen?
Yes.
And does this show a lack of posted permits?
Yes, the windows are all boarded up. I didn't see anything.
Okay. And under the Philadelphia Code, one has to be able to walk by and see these permits posted. Is that correct?
Correct.
And fair to say, if the permits are posted under the plywood, that does not comply with the code, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Inspector, is it your opinion that both of these SVNs were properly issued?
Yes.
Okay. At this point, the city would mark and move all exhibits
So
for
move.
33 and 34, and I have nothing further for this, Inspector.
Exhibits are admitted. Mr. Enrico, do you have any cross-examination questions for the inspector?
I have I guess, a question for the city, and I don't know if it's
Well, the
inspector or
person,
not.
well,
Well, I'll ask you this.
let me
me ask the
finish.
inspector, why did I not receive any pictures with the violation notice? I had no idea that there was trash.
Mr. Enrico,
under the scaffold.
you asked the question, let him answer it. Mr.
They're all
Luciano?
they're all uploaded on violations. Whoever has it to the Eclipse knows and be able to see that. When you get I guess when you receive the violation, I don't.
Yeah, I don't go in clips. My contractors. have
But that
been
was
the
his
ones-
response to your question. Any other
All right,
questions that
that's-
you would have for him?
So you're saying, because I have a picture in the appeal of the scaffolding, minus any of the trash out there, and they actually pulled one of the scaffolding.
Mr. Enrico, what is your question? Ask the question.
I don't have any other questions for the inspector.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Ms. Pacho, do you have any additional witnesses?
I have no further witnesses.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Enrico, now is your opportunity to present your
Yeah,
case.
I'd like to call Paul Mazzacci from my contractor's company.
Okay.
He helped me file the appeal.
Okay.
And he can speak to what his guys experienced, and I'm gonna ask Paul first of all,
Well, before you do any of that, we need to establish who he is and his relationship to this project. Okay.
Paul, can you
And also, he will have to respond to questions that you put to him,
Very good.
and he won't be responding in narrative.
I'm
He'll
not
be
a lawyer,
responding to you.
sir, so I'm
Well,
doing the
I'm
best I
explaining
can.
it. Wait
All
a
right.
minute. Sir, I'm explaining to you how you proceed. That's why I'm trying to
Okay.
help you here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So let's find out who he is and his relationship to this matter.
Paul, can you introduce yourself and relationship to my project?
Yes, my name is Paul Mazzacki. I'm the office manager here for Rosanello's Windows.
How you spell that, sir?
ROS is in Sam, EN is in Nancy, ELLOS.
Okay, Rosanello's. Okay, thank you.
Now, Paul, can you speak to some of the issues that came up in the appeal? Is it not your opinion that we left enough room for to meet the code, the 4 feet?
It is, and I have a few pictures that were actually submitted back to L&I that show that there was close to 5 feet available, which I can actually show if I can allow to
Yes.
share my screen.
Yes, share your screen.
All right. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. The standard width of this scaffolding, as listed here, is 5 foot. Okay. So what we did is you can clearly see if you put that scaffolding from where this is to here, from here to here, there's easily 4 feet to here. There's 5 foot to here. There's a 6 foot plus to the end of the curb. It's my opinion that this right here is plenty of room and coincides with that 4 foot.
Okay.
That they can go through.
Mr. Miyachi, I'm sorry, I pronounced your name incorrectly. My apologies. What is it again?
Mazzacki.
Mazzacki. What is the distance between the end of the scaffold to the edge where the planting bed begins?
It is about 4 foot 3 inches or so.
You have any measurement to show?
I don't. We just have the original one showing that this is 5 feet to here.
Okay, where you don't have anything that's showing that on the screen.
But no, I don't.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
The full length of this is 5 feet.
Okay. Mr. Enrico?
Chairman,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Yes.
may, I guess I'm confused. I see a piece of scaffolding extending from the side of the property and to a man who's got a right hand he's got blue shirt, blue shorts, and a white t-shirt with his right hand on a piece of scaffolding. That would appear to be about 10 feet from the building.
Yep, that's what he was arguing. He was testimony is that from the edge of the scaffolding where it's sitting on the lumber to
Yes.
where that fellow is standing is another 5 foot.
Okay, okay, but there is scaffolding blocking the sidewalk, or was that just by way of example to show that it's at 5 feet?
That is by way of example.
Thank you.
I'd further like to add that the scaffolding was put up and removed within probably a day or day and a half. And then, as you can see here, because this was all done the same day, the permit was on the window, and we had asked the inspector, because we were working above, we didn't want to break the windows as we were installing them. We put the board up. We asked the inspector, hold on a second, we can clearly show you the permit as it was posted. And you can also see that all the debris was cleaned up in a timely manner. We kind of took everything off, piled it here, and then brought it over to the dumpster.
What was the date of that date and time of that photograph?
Off the top of my head, I am not 100% sure.
So you don't have any stamp on the photograph or anything?
I do not, sir. That is my fault. I should definitely have timestamped that.
Okay. All right.
So, but we did have the permits. The permits were posted in the windows for the second half of this.
Okay. Now, would you agree that the photograph that was taken by the city is accurate?
In the 15 minutes or so that the inspector was there, yes.
Okay. All right.
I do know, and I said Mr. Bonacristo, I believe it was. It is also my recollection that one of our employees who's not listed here and is no longer with us had gotten into a verbal altercation with Mr. Bonacristo. I think things may have gotten out of hand.
Objection to relevance at this point.
I would just like to apologize to Mr. Bonacristo.
Yeah, well, that's
for
that's
that
not relevant.
action.
Yeah, thank you, but that's not relevant for the hearing. But one other question for you, sir: were you there on the site itself? Were you there managing the work?
I was there, not at the time that Mr. Bonacristo was, but I have been to that site.
Okay, would you be considered a foreman or lead person for that job?
I would not.
Okay.
The project manager that we have would be the actual foreman.
Okay. Mr. Enrico, do you have any additional evidence you want to submit?
No, I do not, sir.
You have any other questions you want your witness to respond to?
No, I don't.
Okay. And what I do, I'll invite Ms. Pasio. She may have cross-examination, so I don't want to get ahead of her.
I do, Chairman.
Yes.
Good morning or good afternoon, Mr. Mizzachi.
Good afternoon.
So I want to direct your attention. I'm going to share my screen. Do you see what I'm looking at? This is your exhibit. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, Mr. Mizzachi, you see right here in the right hand of the photograph, this is the scaffold that was erected, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then you see the second scaffold, if you follow my cursor, that runs against the second half of the sidewall. That's the scaffold that you were using as an example. Is that correct?
That's correct. That is correct. That is not a permanent scaffold. That was just used for measurement purposes to provide a clearer image, because trying to get a tape measure to do it, we couldn't get a good photo of it.
Okay. And you see this scaffold right here. Is that correct? That's like leaning against the scaffold.
Those were pieces that we had moved over because we were trying to find a good one to use for the picture.
All right. So I want to, do you see where my cursor is right about here? I'm circling about mid-screen.
Yes.
All right. And you see over here where you have this ladder.
I'm sorry, I lost you. The ladder, yes.
Okay. So it's your testimony that between right here to this ladder is 4 feet?
No, this scaffolding was not there.
I'm not talking about the scaffolding. I'm talking about the original scaffold that you have erected right here. You see what I'm talking about?
From there
To
to
this
the edge
ladder.
of the ladder, yes, that would be 4 feet.
Council, or sir, do you think a 4-foot person could lay down and fit in that area?
The width of Matt, who's the fella in the boots there, is probably about 2.5 feet.
It's your testimony that that gentleman is 2.5 feet wide?
For shoulder to shoulder?
I don't think so.
Okay, but that's congestion on both parts. So
So I'll move on. You testified also that the permits were posted, and in support of that, you argue that you can clearly see the permit posted in this photograph, correct?
That is correct. They were hidden behind the board at the time, and the inspector was asked, we can easily remove them. There's literally 2 screws in there. We could have popped them off. It was just temporary a sheet of wood that was protecting the window since we were working above it at the time.
However, you understand that the permits are supposed to always be visible, correct?
I thought that the permits had to be posted at all times.
Well,
which it was.
It would be possible to post the permits on top of the plywood, isn't that correct?
So we take it off the window, pull it out, put it on the plywood for the 15 minutes, half an hour, and then put it back on the window?
And then you would have been in compliance with the code, is that correct?
I guess it seems a little silly, but the permits were there. We had the permit. The permit was posted.
Okay. And I just have one further question when it comes to the scaffold that you had used as an example. You had measuring tape, correct? Because that was in the first photograph you submitted?
Correct.
Why didn't you use the measuring tape to show along the sidewalk exactly how much space was present?
Because we couldn't get a good photo of it with, even on the one, we only have a section of it. We didn't think that it would be a good photo if you just saw the 3.5, 4 foot end, because we couldn't get it end to end and have you actually read the numbers in a photo.
I have nothing further.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. Just Mr. Mizaki, one thing, you understand that the importance of this being an SVN, right? Violation.
What is an SVN violation, sir?
Actually, Ms. Patcher, would you, I think you've had that up earlier. Would you mind putting that up again so they can appreciate what this is?
Of course, Chairman Woodson. Is it present at this point?
Not yet. We just see your files.
Is it showing now?
No.
Chairman Woodson? No? Okay.
No.
1 second.
Or unless you're comfortable giving a definition of SVN.
The site violation notice?
Yes.
The original one, I have a copy of that, sir, yes.
Okay. And I guess the issue here is, do you understand that a site violation is based on a particular point in time?
Yes.
And if it's a violation at 12 o'clock, it's a violation, even if you clean up at 12:05.
That I was unaware of.
Yeah.
But I know
that's
now.
what a site violation, that's the import of a site violation. And
Yes,
so that's why I asked you earlier, the early photos that the city presented, were they accurate? And you agreed that they probably were.
They probably were, yes.
Okay, thank you. All righty. Mr. Enrico, any final comments you would have before we vote on your case?
No.
Okay, Ms. Pascio, any final argument?
Just briefly in closing, members of the board, Inspector Boncristiano credibly testified that there was not sufficient space for a walkway when he was out on May 8th. His pictures show that what the city would argue and what LNI argues is not a 4-foot space. Furthermore, I understand that the appellant is arguing that they did have permits posted, but they're under plywood, and unfortunately that does not comply with the code. So we would ask that the city be affirmed in both cases.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman,
sir. Yes, sir.
Could we have a brief executive session?
Okay, already. We will go off the record for a few moments. We'll be back shortly and to record our decision. Regard to HA 2023-002409-2233 Tulip Street, Joe Enrico. We will now poll the board. City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Mr. Washington, you
City
voting with us?
affirmed.
City
City
affirmed?
affirmed.
Okay. Unanimous vote is city affirmed for number 33. Let's now move on to number 34, HA-2023-002410-2233 Tulip Street, Joe Enrico. City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Thank you. The vote is city affirmed for number 34. Mr. Enrico, that means that you've lost your appeal. You may appeal a decision of this board. If you need information as to how you should do that, you can call the administrator's office. That number will be on the decision letter if you choose to appeal our decision. Thank you very much for your cooperation and your patience. Have a good afternoon. The witnesses are excused.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Mr. Wade, what do we have next?
We have case number 36 that was previously called moot complied. We're going to strike that and recall case 36, hearing appeal ending 2433. 4614 Woodland Avenue, 4614 Woodland Partners LP.
Okay. And there was who's representing the city?
Thank you, members of the board. Jeffrey Cohen for the city.
Okay. And who's representing the appellant? Anyone present representing the appellant? Mr. Cohen, what happened with the status? Was this a misunderstanding in terms of status?
I believe so. I think Mr. Kelly was instructed to read off number 39 as moot and
Okay.
read off 36 instead. We talked about it before the board finished with its preliminary matters, which is why I butted in to just assert
Okay.
that it was not moot.
Okay.
It's an SVN, much like the one that Kristen Patchell just handled.
Okay.
For blocking the sidewalk.
And this instant, we have of record J. Matthew Wolf Esquire's counsel for the appellant. Is Mr. Wolf, anyone in his office present? Anyone present representing the interests of 4614 Woodland Avenue? No one
Just
present.
for the record, I did email Mr. Wolf on May 3rd about this matter, and then on May 17th, I emailed Mr. Wolf and the board the city's exhibits packet.
Okay.
4614 Woodland Partners listed 426 South 44th Street as their mailing address. And Matthew Wolf Esquire listed 4256 Regent Square as his mailing address. Service was made to both on April 3rd, 2024.
Okay, thank you very much. So what is your preference, Mr. Cohen?
The city respectfully requests that this be labeled city affirmed for non-appearance.
Okay, thank you. Time, Mr. Pincus?
3:22 p.m.
3:22 p.m. Okay. We'll poll the board on HA-2023-002433 4614 Woodland Avenue, 4614 Woodland Partners LP, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. The matter is resolved. Mr. Cohen, if that's your final matter, you excuse.
Thank you, but I have one more. I would like to thank Inspector Spinozzi, though. If he doesn't have
Okay.
any other matters, then may he be excused.
Yes, he's excused.
Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty. What's the next matter, Mr. Wade?
Case number 38, hearing appeal ending 2455 127 North 62nd Street, Khalid Esmail.
Okay. Who's representing the city?
Members of the board, this is my last matter.
Okay.
Jeffrey Cohen for the city.
Okay. Khalid Esmail.
Yes.
Khalid. Oh,
Yes.
sir. Okay. Sir, your name?
Khalid Ismail.
Okay.
KHALID.
Sir,
Okay.
it appears that you're riding in a vehicle.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop now.
Yeah, we can't hear your case while you're moving.
Okay.
Okay, sir, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You can place your hand down. Okay, Mr. Ishmael, what is your relationship to this property at 127 North 62nd Street?
I own it.
Any other names on the deed?
No.
Is it owned in your name personally or LLC?
No, my name personally.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Cohen, you have a witness today?
Thank you, yes. And just for the record for the board, the city's exhibits packet, page 20, exhibit C7 does have the deed showing Mr. Ismail as the individual record owner.
Okay, thank you. All right.
And the city, as a preliminary matter, the city would raise an objection to any arguments that Mr. Ismail would put forward. He did not include any grounds for appeal in his appeal, so that he has not articulated any reason for the appeal.
Okay.
That
So
said,
noted.
the city would call Inspector Gerardo Gonzalez.
Inspector Gonzalez, please unmute, raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
You need to speak up a little bit, sir. We barely hear you.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Cohen?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Inspector. If you could please tell the board how many years you've been with LNI and in what capacity?
I've been with LNI for 30 years.
And in what capacity?
I've been with the city, I've been licensed in inspections.
And through your duties for licenses and inspections, have you reviewed the records for and inspected the property at 127 North 62nd Street?
Yes.
And with the board's permission, I'm going to share on my screen the city's exhibits packet.
Yes, please.
Inspector, can you see the exhibits on my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to scroll down to what's been pre-labeled Exhibit C1. What is this photograph?
This is the exterior front of the property?
The property at 127 North 62nd?
Yes.
And who took this photograph?
I did.
What's the date of the photograph?
3/14/2023.
And specifically, what are the conditions of the front porch roof or the ceiling under the front porch roof?
Yeah, it looked like there was an issue with the roof and it caved in. So there was a hole in the ceiling.
Were there any other issues that at this time that you discovered at this property?
Yeah, they had a boarded basement window.
Sorry, is that the window down there in the bottom sort of right-hand corner of the photo?
Yes.
Did you go up to the door and ring a doorbell or knock?
I knocked on the door.
Was there any response?
No.
Were there any other indications that you observed that might indicate that the property is vacant?
No, I did. You can't see through the windows. I think there was like plastic bags or something on the windows that you couldn't see through the windows.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next photographs, starting on page 3, Exhibit C2. Who took these photographs?
Let's see. That might have been another inspector that went out, did the final notice.
I'm sorry, what was the date that these photographs were taken?
May 7th.
And was this another inspector who did this inspection?
Yes.
Did you perform any other inspections at this property?
I think actually, those are my pictures. I'm sorry. That was the last pictures I did for the hearing.
Not a problem. If you could explain what is shown in this photograph that's on screen on page 3.
The same issues that I seen the first time I went out there.
Are there any?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the hole in the ceiling, still the same. The board in the window, the basement window.
Are there any other indications that this property might be vacant?
No, I did do a check for the water. And there is no water usage at the property since 23 of last year.
If someone were, or let me rephrase that, does the lack of water usage indicate that no one is currently occupying a property?
It's supposed to, if somebody is occupying the property, you should have some type of water usage at the property.
And on May 7th, did you knock on the door or ring the doorbell?
Yes.
Was there
I
any
knocked on the
response?
door. I knocked on the door. No
Was
answer.
there? Oh, thank you. And do these photographs, turning now to page 4, do these photographs accurately depict the condition of the property about 2 weeks ago on May 7th?
Yes.
What is this document that I have on screen?
That's the copy of the vacant license.
Just to be clear, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. To whom was this vacant license issued?
It says INS Holdings LLC. Must have been the old owners.
And is this still an active license?
No.
When did it stop being active?
January 1st, 2019.
And have there been any licenses obtained, rental licenses, vacant licenses for this property since 2019?
No.
Thank you. Sorry, scroll down to page 7 in the packet. What is this document that I have on screen?
That's the notice of violation.
Who wrote or who put the information into the system to generate this notice of violation?
I did.
And is this a record that L&I keeps in the ordinary course of its business?
Yes.
And was putting in the info from your inspection part of your ordinary duties?
Yes.
What are the violations that are cited here?
The vacant property standard. They must maintain the property, keep it clean. The exterior of the front porch ceiling that had caved in needed to be repaired. Then there's another vacant structure property for the vacant order.
Sorry, the first one, all vacant structures shall be maintained in clean, safe, secure, and sanitary condition. Is that separate from the next one, which is specifically the front porch roof ceiling is deteriorating?
Yes.
And then what about this next one, citation PM 901.1?
That's the vacant property. That's almost the same thing as the first one, except, it deals with the front, the back, the whole exterior of the property.
But specifically and let me also state for the record, any highlighting in this document is not in the original. It's been added for emphasis. But looking up here at PM 301, the safe, secure, and sanitary condition, is that different from PM 901, where it specifically says the owner shall keep all doors, windows, and openings in good repair?
Right. That's telling them that there shouldn't be boards or anything on the property. Everything should be visible and all the windows and doors should be intact.
That's actually was going to be my follow-up question, but let's move on to this violation here, PM 304.19. What does this violation refer to?
That's the violation for the basement window. That it shouldn't be sealed with any boards or anything. If there are windows there, the board should be in the inside. So we know that there is an actual window there.
And it specifically says here, notifying the appellant sealing with boards or masonry or other materials shall not constitute good repair.
Right.
And then the last violation, what is this violation?
That's to obtain the vacant structure license.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One moment. All right, thank you very much, Inspector. I'm going to leave this on screen just in case Mr. Ismail has any questions and he wants to use the documents.
Okay, Ms. Ismail, do you have any questions for Inspector Gonzalez?
Yes, I was those most of violation is before I bought the house. I bought the house in 2022, and he talking about 19, and I don't.
No. Sir, you have to ask a question. Do you have any questions based on his testimony? If you don't, that's okay. You can present your material later, but do you have any questions?
Okay. Those pictures is not right now. Is not same picture now.
What's the question? I'm not sure. What is the question?
I'm saying that the picture I see is right now is not the same pictures. He have a pictures, last pictures in last week, maybe.
Mr. Esmail, do you want me to go to pages, I think 3 and 4 in the packet, which show the photos?
Yeah, put the
Okay.
photos up. I
Okay.
guess the last one, the May photo, May 27, May 24 photo.
So this is a photo May 7th. It's exhibit C3 or C2 in the packet, page 3.
Yeah, it's the trash is not there now.
Okay.
I don't have any.
Okay, so
trash there.
now, Mr. Ishmael, you are testifying on your behalf. What I'd like you to do, if you don't have any other questions for Mr. Gonzalez, then that's okay. I'd like him, as we would say, step down.
My question is, I don't receive anything, any notes from him. Just I get the last notes for the hearing, but I don't get any notes in a door. I don't get any
Okay.
sticker. Yeah.
So let's do this, Mr. Cohen, so we can move this along. Do you have any additional witnesses, Mr. Cohen?
No, thank you very much, Inspector Gonzalez.
Thank you.
Okay.
I would like to point out to the board on page 11 in the packet, C5, I've actually added in the statute PM 304 specifically to call attention to the ceiling, the boards and masonry on windows. It does not constitute good repair. It's where the language in the NOV comes from. I've also included Mr. Esmail's appeal form as C6. And as I mentioned
Oh, just before, Mr. Cohen,
Sorry.
just scroll up just a moment.
Yes.
Just keep going, please. I want to see the address up,
Oh,
please,
yes.
a bit more.
The address here
Yeah.
of the violation notice? Yes.
Okay, so it was addressed to North 62nd Street, correct?
Yes. And
Okay.
actually, I was going to point out in Exhibit C7 on page 20.
Mhm.
So this is the original 2022 deed to this property. You can see in the upper right-hand corner the stamp of the City Department of Records recording this as an official document. Mr. Esmail wrote in as the grantee or the new owner's address, 127 North 62nd Street.
Okay.
So that was the recorded mailing address for this property. That's why the violation notice here was addressed to North 62nd Street.
Thank you.
And with that, the city would move its exhibits C3 through C7 into evidence.
Okay, thank you. So moved. Now, Mr. Khalid, what do you want to share with us that would help us?
I said this is, yes, it was a vacant building, and I do the demolition, I clean it up, I do the new roof, and stop the water and everything. And the house is in a good shape now, and I sell it, I buy it after the COVID-19 errors. This is a financial issue, but I'm working on it now.
Okay, sir, the violation notice is about you not having a vacant property license. So why haven't you gone ahead and purchased a vacant property license?
I come there, but I don't get it because this is my first time I've been there. I come in a building there in a city, and I take all day. I have to get somebody helping me on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Cohen, I stepped ahead of you. I shouldn't have done that. Do you have any examination of Mr.
Yes,
Khalid?
thank you. Mr. Khalid, you said that you did an interior demolition inside this property?
It's just a roof because it's water coming down, and I clean it up. Just
Okay, just to be absolutely sure, was it an interior demolition of non-load bearing walls inside? Wall or walls?
I'm not sure.
If you'll permit me, members of the board, I'd like to share on my screen.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Khalid, are you aware of the Eclipse public permit search system?
No.
If I hit this search button, will I find any permits, even an easy non-load bearing wall permit for an interior demolition at 127 North 62nd Street?
I don't know because I'm not familiar with that before, believe me.
Right, well, I'm gonna hit the search button. Will you at least verify that the address here, 127 North 62nd, is the property at issue?
Yeah. Yes, 127 North 62nd Street.
Okay. So you'd agree that there is no permit in L&I's system for any type of work at this property?
No.
Thank you. And you also heard the inspector say that there was no water usage at the property. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ismail. I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. Does anyone else have any additional questions? Okay, what I'd like then, Mr. Ishmael, if you have any final comments you'd like to make that would help us understand better, and then I'll ask Mr. Cohen to make any final argument before we vote. So, Mr. Ishmael, you have any additional information you want to share?
I just want to know how I'm going to start to do it because that's not my home, my main home. You know, I buy it and I want to fix it.
I'm not sure what that question is.
The question is what I'm going to start. You know, I have to do like a license or what?
You need to call that isn't the purpose of the board. You need to call LNI and they will ask those questions and someone will answer them for you, or you consult a real estate professional who will help you understand it. Now, the one additional thing I will say, though, sir, you probably didn't receive the notices directly because the address that you put on the deed for the city was the address on North 62nd Street. You did not include your mailing address. So that's why the information didn't go to your mailing address. You need to change that.
Okay, I'm going to change it. No problem.
Okay. All right. Mr. Cohen, any final argument?
Yes, thank you. Before I begin, I would like to note that this was a late appeal. The city is not challenging timeliness, however, because the notice was sent to the property itself based on the address that was in the deed and that Mr. Ismail still has not changed. Still, that's not an issue the city is raising here.
Okay.
The issues here, as I think the inspector pointed out, are fairly obvious from the photos. And specifically, the violations that were cited correspond to specific issues at the property. The deterioration and the partial sort of collapse in the front porch roof is not only itself a violation of the property maintenance code, it is also a vacant property that is not in a clean, safe, or sanitary condition. So those are the two separate violations that deal with two separate areas of the code that sort of arise from this the same condition in the front porch. And then there is the issue with the boarded window, which is, again, itself a violation and also a PM 901 violation, specifically because a vacant property needs to be secured in a fashion that does not include boarded windows. That, and of course, as Mr. Ismail has sort of alluded, there is no vacant property license for this property, and any work that was done in the interior was not done with permits. So the vacant license statute is specific that if the property lacks regular human habitation, it needs a vacant license. And it specifically says if there's lawful construction going on, that's sort of an exception. That's lawful human habitation. But if there's no permit and there's construction going on, then it still needs a vacant license. So with that, the city rests. I believe the board should respectfully give this a city affirmed decision.
All right, thank you very much. If there are no additional questions, we will poll the board on number 38, just for a moment here. HA-2023-002455, 127 North 62nd Street, Khalid Ishmael, city affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Ms. Washington, you're muted, sir.
City affirmed.
Thank you very much. Okay, the majority vote, unanimous vote is city affirmed. That means, Mr. Ishmael, you lost your appeal. You can appeal the decision of the board. Should you want to do that, need information, call the number on the decision letter that you will receive in the mail and ask for information as to how you should appeal a decision of this board. Thank you, sir, for your participation and your cooperation. Have a good afternoon. All parties are excused.
Thank you, members of the board. Thank you very much, Inspector.
Thank you. Mr. Wade, anything else?
I had the last matter on the list being case number 57, hearing appeal ending 1648, 914 West Somerset Street, Olga Rosado.
Olga Rosado. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon. Amy Skiles on behalf of the city for this matter.
Afternoon, Ms. Skiles. Anyone present representing 914 West Somerset Street?
Yes. Olga Rosado?
Okay, Ms. Rosado, would you mind turning on your video?
Not at all. Can you look?
Oh, excuse me.
Can you guys see me?
Yes, we can now. Yes.
Oh, hello.
Okay. Mr. Rosado, you need to be in a stationary place though, because you lose connectivity when you move around.
Understood.
Okay. Alrighty. Would you raise your right hand so that you can be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Skiles, do you have any witnesses?
Yes, I have one witness, Inspector Tamika Blair.
Inspector Blair, Tamika Blair. If you'd unmute yourself, please. And raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Blair, I think those voices are coming from your area. If they are, would you please request people lower the volume, or if you could move to another location?
Thank you. I apologize.
Okay, Ms. Skiles.
Yes. Good afternoon. I'm going to begin with a brief opening, just because I believe this issue may be a little novel. We're here today on an appeal of an intent to cease that was issued to 914 Somerset Street. 914 Somerset Street is located in an RM1 base district. And that's important because under the, we're going to be talking about daycares for this intent to cease. And under the Philadelphia Code, there are 3 different classes of daycares. There is family child care that occurs in the provider's primary residence for, I believe, up to 6 children. There's group childcare and a childcare center, and those are daycares that occur outside of the operator's primary residence. The use permit that is currently registered with the department for this location is a family childcare. However, one of the conditions of family childcare is that it occurs in the operator's primary residence. As you will hear from Inspector Blair, upon inspection, the department discovered that Ms. Rosado does not reside in 914 West Somerset Street. So what she's actually operating is a group child care facility, which would require a different use registration permit and a special exception to be operating in an RM1 base district. As we sit here today, you will hear from Inspector Blair that new use permit has not been obtained, so the department would be asking to move forward with the cease today. And with that, I call Inspector Blair.
Okay, Inspector Blair.
Yes, I just want to make a correction. The address is 917 West
I
Somerset.
apologize. 917 West Somerset Street.
917, thank you.
Yes.
So upon inspection of the property, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Inspector, but let me ask you a few questions to begin. Can you state your name once again for the record?
Tamika Blair.
And where are you currently employed?
City of Philadelphia, Department of Licenses and Inspections.
And how long have you been with the department?
11 years.
And what are some of your roles and responsibilities with the Department of License and Inspections?
I enforce the Philadelphia Code, specifically property maintenance, fire code, and administrative zoning codes.
Okay. And as part of your duties with the department, have you become familiar with the property located at 917 West Somerset Street?
Yes.
And how did you become familiar with that property?
I received a complaint for unlicensed childcare.
Okay. And as a result of that complaint, did you conduct an inspection?
Yes.
Okay. And with the board's permission, I would now like to share my screen.
Yes, please.
Okay, I am now sharing, I believe you should be able to see Exhibit A.
Not yet. Here we are. Now we can.
Okay, great. So Inspector Blair, when you inspected, when did you first inspect the property at 917 West Somerset Street?
It was April of 2023.
Okay. And what did you observe when you did that inspection?
There was the first and second floor appeared to be used as the child care center. There was a day bed and an office on the second floor towards the rear of the property. It didn't appear to me to be a residence that was a main residence, basically, what's required as a family daycare. So on the first floor was a basic childcare area, and then there was a kitchen. On the second floor, the front room was, there was a bed in there. The operator told me that she uses that for naps. The next room had a child's, it was a child's computer room. It had desk and chairs and little laptops. Then there was a bathroom and then the office with the day bed.
Okay, so as a result of your inspection, did you issue a violation?
Yes.
And so directing your attention to the document on the screen, can you see the document on the screen?
Yes.
What is this document that's been labeled City Exhibit A?
That's a violation notice.
Okay, and who was this violation notice issued to?
To Olga Rosada.
And what was the date of this notice?
April 13th, 2023, sorry.
Okay, and what is the violation cited in this notice of violation?
It is a use registration permit is required for every new use commenced on any land or in any structure. Return the subject premises to its approved usage or secure the proper permit for its present use.
Okay. And so now I want to direct your attention to City Exhibit B, which is a series of photographs. So Inspector Blair, what is depicted in the first photograph in City Exhibit B?
This is the front of the property located at 917 West Somerset.
And did you take this photograph as part of your inspection in April of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. And moving on to the second photograph, what is depicted in this photograph?
This is the rear room on the second floor, which is the office space. To the left of, to the right of the picture is the day bed.
Okay.
Towards the back is a desk and chair.
Okay. And in this, what is depicted in this photograph?
This is the front room that has the bed, which I was told was for naps, and also some items related to the child care center.
Okay. And in this photograph, what's depicted in this photograph?
This is the middle room that I call the computer room with the chairs and desks.
Okay. And what's depicted in this photograph?
This is a current fire extinguisher with the current tag as
Okay.
required in the kitchen.
And what's depicted in this photograph here?
Carbon monoxide detector as required.
Okay. And did anything depicted in this photograph of interest?
Just showing that there's a thumb lock. It's not a double key lock, so it's per code.
Okay. And what's depicted in this photograph?
This is the first floor level of the property where the main childcare area is, and towards the back is the kitchen.
Okay. And what is depicted in this photograph?
This, in the first inspection, the owner told me that she resided in the property, so this is where she stored her clothes.
When you completed the inspection, was this the only area where clothes were found?
Yes.
So this was it. There were no other personal items in a different dresser?
No.
What about in closets? Were there any personal items stored in closets?
This was the only closet.
Okay. What about things like toothbrushes? Did you see any toothbrushes or toothpaste in the bathroom areas?
Yes.
You did? Okay. Adult toothbrushes and toothpaste?
Yes.
Okay. So when you conducted your inspection in April 4th of 2024, what led you to the conclusion that Miss Rosado did not reside at 917 West Somerset?
For the fact that the house didn't look lived in like most of the family child cares, daycares that I've inspected. It just didn't appear to be a property that was lived in by the operator.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to satisfy the requirements of a family daycare, Miss Rosado has to reside at 917 West Somerset. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you inspected, what was the current use that's registered with the city for the property?
A single family dwelling.
And is there a registration for a family daycare at this location?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And so directing your attention, this is City Exhibit C. What is this document?
That is an issued zoning permit.
And this zoning permit is for family daycare?
Yes.
Okay. And so now directing your attention to City Exhibit D. What's the document identified as City Exhibit D?
This is a family childcare license issued by LNI.
Okay. And this was issued to Miss Olga Rosado?
Yes.
For the property at 917 West Somerset Street?
Yes.
Okay. But you issued your violation because after your inspection, you believed Miss Rosado did not reside at the property.
Correct.
And therefore, Miss Rosado did not meet the requirements of a family daycare.
Correct.
And so because of that, Miss Rosado would have to apply for a new use permit.
Yes.
Okay. And so did you re-inspect the property at any point?
This year I did.
Okay. And so did you make, after you re-inspected the property, did you make any further enforcement decisions?
I issued an intent to cease order.
Okay. So I'm directing your attention now to City Exhibit E. What is the document identified as City Exhibit E?
The intent to cease order.
Okay, and what date was this document issued?
On April 25th of 2024.
Oh. And did you issue this intent to cease based on an inspection that you completed in April of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And why did you determine it was appropriate to issue the cease at that time?
At that time, the owner stated that she did not live in the property. She thought that just by that she could have the daycare and not live in the property, but be the person of she's renting the property. Mm-hmm. So she figured that as long as she's renting the property, it was okay to operate the daycare. But I informed her that it has to be her main residence.
Mm-hmm. And so
Ms. Skiles, just for a moment.
Yes.
I just noticed that the intent to cease is to a Renee Rosado. Are they the same person?
That's there's Renee Rosado is the record owner of the property, so the intent was also issued to the record owner. But as you'll see on the second page, it was also issued to the operator of the daycare and the appellant here today, Miss Olga Rosado.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And so if I may just back up, Inspector Blair, upon your inspection in April of 2024, Ms. Rosado did admit to you that that 917 West Somerset is not her primary residence.
Correct.
Okay, and so it was appropriate at that time to issue the cease operations order.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the cease operations order.
Yes.
Okay. And I will move on now to City Exhibit F. Is City Exhibit F a series of photographs that you took upon your inspection of April of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. So what is depicted in this photograph?
This is another picture that I took of the front of the property.
Okay.
This time with the sign for the Many Miracles.
Okay. And this is a close-up of that sign?
Yes.
Okay. And what's depicted in this photograph?
This is a hardwired smoke alarm as required.
Okay.
And
this
is the thumb lock door.
Okay. And in this photograph?
I'm sorry, current fire alarm, fire extinguisher.
Okay. And in this photograph?
The hardwired smoke alarm in the basement.
Okay. And what's depicted in this photograph?
This is the rear room as shown before, but it was just changed around.
Okay. And this is another view of that rear room?
Yes.
Okay. And what's depicted in this photograph?
This is the bathroom.
Okay. And this is another smoke alarm?
Yes, on the second floor as required.
Okay. And what's depicted in this photograph?
This is the front bedroom. Miss Rosado said that her daughter now resides in the property, and this is her bedroom.
Okay. Let me ask, if Miss Rosado's daughter resided in the property, would that satisfy the requirement for the family daycare?
I'm sorry, please repeat the question.
If Miss Rosado's daughter did reside in the property, would that satisfy the residency requirements of a family daycare?
No, because the daughter is not the operator of the daycare.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. And what is depicted in this photograph?
This is the room that had the children's desks and chairs.
Okay.
It's now a makeup room.
Okay. And what's this photograph?
That is a picture of her family daycare license as posted in the property.
Okay. And what's depicted in this photograph?
This is it was a document issued by the state for the childcare.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. And so when you completed your inspection on April 25th, 2024, was the property still operating as a daycare center?
Yes.
Okay. And it was then that you made the decision to issue that cease operations order?
Yes.
And the department is asking to proceed with that cease at this time?
Yes.
And so why is it necessary to now proceed with the cease operations order?
Because the property is no longer being used. Well, the property is not being used as a family daycare with the owner residing in the property as their main residence.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions for Inspector Blair at this time.
Okay.
And I will stop sharing my screen.
Mr. Rosado, do you have any questions for the inspector?
Yes.
Please, what are your questions?
Okay. The first question is, I believe on the first, in 2023, during that visit, the inspector stated that I had informed her that I used.
Well, you have to form it. You have to form it as a question. What is your question?
So, Inspector, you at what point during your inspection, during the 2023 inspection that you conducted, did I state to you that I used the upstairs level for childcare purposes?
When you told me the middle room was used for the computer room where the tables and the desk were. The front room, you said that was another room for the childcare and they take naps there.
Okay. Did you observe closet space, or you just in the home doing any of the inspections?
In the rear room with the day bed, well, I call it the office. In that room, I didn't see closet space in the middle bedroom, which is the computer room, and the front room. There is a closet space with curtains in front of it.
Okay. During any of your inspections, did you observe more than 6 children in that location at any of your inspections?
No.
Okay. Is it true that under the family child care, the maximum is 6 children under the family child care license?
Yes.
Do you feel that the environment, it puts any of the children in care in imminent danger or in an unsafe environment?
No.
The first 2023 inspection, based on the violations that you observed, was there any follow-up at all from the department as far as that violation being satisfied or not satisfied at all?
No.
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Skiles, anything else?
Nothing, nothing further.
Okay. Alrighty. Ms. Rosado, do you have any witnesses or any information you'd like to share with us?
No witnesses. I would like to make a statement if this is the
Sure.
appropriate time.
Okay. You're muted. You have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
And actually, if you're sitting in your car, it's better. So moving around is really not good for us.
Okay. I'm just gonna step out just because I have one of my granddaughter asleep and I don't want her to wake up in the middle of me saying this. I'm right outside the car.
Okay.
So what I wanted to state is during the first 2023 inspection that was conducted, it was a phone call from the Department of Human Services, which is the department that issues the child care license, the certificate of operations in order to be able to operate as a daycare. That certificate of, I just want to state that I've been in business going on 3 years now, and this only came up as an issue for the last 2 years. So in 2023, when the inspector first came out, I was informed by the Department of Human Services that that I, as an operator, did not have to live there. That someone had to live there, which is why I was still issued a license after the 2023 inspection and after the violations were found by LNI. I was still going through my annual renewal with DHS. And they, even after that, still gave me my certificate to continue to operate. Also, as stated by the inspector herself, there was no follow-up with those 2023 violations. So just me, as just a consumer, I just assumed that everything was resolved because I was dealing with the state of Pennsylvania Child Care Services. That's what I was, told. And like I said, I was issued a certificate of operation in order to continue to run my daycare with my daughter living there. They have always been aware. Well, the Department of Human Services, I will say, has always been aware that I have not lived there, but that my daughter does live there. The second time around upon a 2024 inspection, when the inspector asked me, I stated the same thing, not thinking I'm in any, it is a violation or I'm not in compliance with any codes, because I was being, directed by another agency that was guiding me, from what I can see, not in the right way. Or in a way that is opposing to each other. LNI has a set of regulations that don't really add up to what the state of Pennsylvania is allowing as far as the criteria for family childcare and group childcare. I intend on following all the requirements that I need to follow, which is why I did submit for a change of use shortly after the inspector came out. Because that's when I realized it was still an issue, and the two departments are separate entities, LNI and the state of Pennsylvania with child care services. I have since put in a change of use for the property. I am waiting on zoning to give me the referral so that I can finish the process and submitting an appeal. And I was told or informed by the zoning department that that appeal process right now is looking like a 4 to 6 months process, which is why I'm asking I asked for this emergency appeal for an extension, as I have applied, for the correct exceptions that I need to. I am simply being held up on the appeal process. And after, the inspector herself stated the facility is not unsafe, is not, endangering any of the families that are in my care. And furthermore, I don't even have more than 6 contracts. If I have 4 to 6 contracts, that's a lucky year for me. So, the business is, trying to make it as more, to provide quality childcare for the community. So that's the reason, that I'm asking for this emergency hearing, because I am being held up by another appeal process that I have to yet go through.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Skiles, you have any cross-examination?
Sorry.
Yeah.
In addition to that, again, as an annual renewal for child cares, I just received, the compliance through the state of Pennsylvania for yet another year, as well via email. I can forward that or bring it up if I could share the screen if the board would like to see that I just got, which means I passed, I meet all the requirements, all the training, all the hours are within compliance. This is the only hiccup that I've had, and I plan on clearing it up.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Skiles?
So Ms. Rosato, you do not live in the property at 917 West Somerset. I'm sorry, you cut out.
No.
You do not?
No.
Okay. And so you understand now that you have to apply for a new use permit for group childcare.
Yes, I have done that.
You have applied. Okay. If I may share my screen briefly.
Yes, please.
Okay. So let me just move down to what has been marked City Exhibit H. Can you see what's been identified as City Exhibit H?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Rosato, can you read that?
Yeah, I'm trying to zoom in. What am I looking at?
You can't zoom in. She has to zoom.
I can zoom in.
Okay, so let me zoom out. Give me a second. Okay, what am I looking at?
This is your use permit application. So Ms. Rosato, would you agree with me that you started your use permit last March 7th of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm now scrolling to, this is the processes tab of your use permit. So it kind of shows us what's happened up until this point. So do you see how the department asked you to provide more information May 10th of 2023. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that because I didn't go back into the Eclipse system. As I stated in my testimony, once the Child Care State of Pennsylvania agency came out and they gave me my child care license to continue to run my child care as usual, I just thought it was all in combination with everything, and I was within code, and everything was fine. So that's why I didn't.
Okay, but you would agree that after May of 2023, you made you didn't respond to any requests of information until May 1st of 2024.
Yeah, I didn't, again, because the agency still gave me my license to continue to operate. But as you see there, I made every attempt to try and correct it when I believed that the violation was active and needed to be corrected, which is why I applied in 2023. I resumed only in 2024 when the inspector again still stated that it was still an issue. So again, that also shows that I am, willing to correct anything that needs to be corrected. I'm just being held up by, the appeal process.
Okay. I believe, just briefly, I have no further questions for Ms. Rosado.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions for Ms. Rosado?
I have a question.
Yes.
I just want to confirm with the record that Ms. Skiles presented. Is there or is there not an application pending at the Department of Licenses and Inspections for the appropriate, I guess, zoning or use permit for a daycare center for a non-operator, I guess a group home, I think is what you call a group?
Yes, there is an application for the appropriate zoning, but what the city exhibit has shown was that there was a request in May of 2023 by the plans examiner for Ms. Rosado to provide more information. She did not provide that information until May 1st of 2024. So that's why there's been a significant delay here. Ms. Rosado failed to respond to the department for nearly a year. But there is an application under review at this time.
But there's no appeal to the zoning board, or there's
Not yet. There's no appeal to the zoning there's no appeal to the zoning board. That application is still under review.
So
I wanted to wait for that to
Ms.
be approved.
Rosado, please, you can't
sorry.
you
Okay.
can't say anything until you've been asked to speak, okay?
So if
Okay,
I understand it correctly, application has been made to LNI. LNI asked for additional information that may or may not have been provided, and the application for the use permit is still under review, which would still require an approval or a rejection, and then an ultimate appeal to the zoning board, none of which has happened yet.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Rosado, I'm just curious as to why you would believe the state process is the same as the city process.
Really just not having any knowledge on, I'm from New Jersey. So not having any knowledge on, there's no LNI in New Jersey. It's just really, you deal with Department of Children's Services. They come out, they inspect, they give you a license.
Okay. But you are a business person in Philadelphia, correct?
I'm sorry?
You own a business in Philadelphia.
Yeah, 917. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So it's your responsibility to understand what's required in Philadelphia.
That's correct. Again, as I stated, in 2020, if you can see the eclipse, and after this 2024 visit, April, I have been active and I have been submitting everything that I need to submit to zoning in order to correct this issue. Again, the only reason that I did not continue to check the eclipse or even I didn't get anything in the mail when I first got the violation, they mailed something to my primary address and to the business as well. There was no mailings that came out. I did not go back into the Eclipse system again because after the first violation in 2023, I still got a license to operate, which again, I, due to my ignorance, assumed that it was in conjunction with that and not getting any other kind of, notifications that no, this is still an issue or any kind of other follow-up besides the Eclipse system. I just thought that everything, was corrected and I was in compliance with everything that I needed to be, which is why that went like that, with no reply or, nothing being submitted. Since then in April, I have been active and have done everything that I need to do. Once I did come to the realization, once the inspector explained everything to me, that is two separate entities, pretty much.
When Miss Blair inspected your property in 2023, did she identify herself as an employee of the city of Philadelphia or the state of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
Yes.
I'm asking you, which did she identify herself?
I'm sorry, can you ask the question again?
Did she identify herself as an employee of the city of Philadelphia or an employee of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
City of Philadelphia.
Okay. All right. So she was not a state inspector.
I mean, I
Okay.
guess not.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any questions? Okay. Ms. Rosado, if you have any final comments you'd like to make that would help us make a decision in this matter, we'd like to hear that. After which we'll ask Ms. Skiles for any final argument before we vote.
I mean, as I stated, I understand that the provider has to live there now. There is someone that is residing in the property. It's not like, everything is being used for childcare purposes. It's the downstairs that is being used. And as I stated, I'm still even following the family childcare guidelines with just, 6 contracts, or less, really, typically, in my case. The kids are not in any imminent danger. The property, otherwise, with the zoning issue is up to code, not just by LNI inspector, but also by the state inspector that came out for the child care services and deemed everything, safe and sound for the children. I would hate to have to suddenly have my families, uproot their kids from the environment that they have been used to, for the last 3 years. It may cause, a financial detriment to, not just the business, but, the employee that I have, the parents could be missing time from work. And again, once I became aware of everything, I've been compliant. I've been doing what I need to do. It's a process. I'm finding out the hard way, and I'm going through it. I've done everything that I need to do. I'm simply waiting on zoning to do what they need to do so that I can file for that appeal.
Okay. There's no, well, at the moment, we don't know what zoning will do. But Ms. Skiles, before you give your final argument, I'd like to see that form again. There was a form that you put up, I think the last form, that showed the Eclipse communication, but also
Yes.
showed the original application.
Yes.
I just want to see that application again.
I was actually gonna highlight that in my closing, but I can
Okay.
share my screen.
I want to see how it was completed initially in terms of the kind of daycare that was described.
Yes, so as part of the application, it was this, can you see my screen?
Yes.
So yes, under the application, Ms. Rosado did apply for a group childcare, which is what is operating in the property at this time. You can see.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh,
You
sorry.
said she applied for a group, she did not apply for a family childcare.
She has a zoning, sorry, I can show you. It was city exhibit in 2020. Let me find it. I apologize. So in 2020, Ms. Rosado was issued a permit for family daycare.
Okay.
As she does not reside in the property, she would need the appropriate use registration permit for group daycare.
Correct.
Which was the application we were looking at.
And when was that application filed?
It was filed March 7th of 2023. And as you can see, the department did ask for additional information here. The last kind of thing that has happened is the department, oh, I apologize. They asked for more information on May 10th of 2023, and that was not completed by Ms. Rosado until May 1st of 2024.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. So if any final argument?
May I ask a question, Ms. Skiles? Did you in those exhibit documents also include a page of the approval from the state of Pennsylvania for the childcare?
I did not, that's not part of the city's record. I did include the license that was issued from the city. I
Okay.
don't have access to the state's record.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yes. So in closing, I would ask the board to affirm the department's actions, affirm the cease and the notices that were issued. I don't think there's any contest or any argument that a violation is not occurring here, specifically that a zoning violation occurs here. As you can see on the screen that I'm sharing, it is very clear in the Philadelphia Code that family child care is child care in the provider's primary residence. And that is what Ms. Rosado has zoning for currently. And there's no debate, there's no arguing that Ms. Rosado does not live in 917 West Somerset Street. We also know that I know that Ms. Rosado is asking for more time today. However, we wouldn't be here today had the permit been acted on efficiently. A request for more information was sent to Ms. Rosado over a year ago, May 10th of 2023. And I know Ms. Rosado has spoken to someone who has been working on the zoning permits and said it could take 4 to 6 months. That permit would have been issued 6 months ago had she responded to the department's request for more information. However, Ms. Rosado did not respond to that information until May 1st of 2024, which is why we're still sitting here today. Under the code, the department is authorized if a property is operating without the appropriate use registration permits, which we know is occurring here. So we would be asking for a city affirm, and we would be asking to move forward with the cease. I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you very much. If there's no additional testimony from anyone, we will now poll the board regarding, excuse me, HA 2024-001648, 917 West Somerset Street, Olga Rosado, City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed with 180 days stay of enforcement.
Okay, thank you.
City affirmed.
Okay, I will change my vote to incorporate the 180 day stay of enforcement. Anyone else care to join me? Okay, already. The vote is city affirm, 180 day stay of enforcement, city affirm 100 day stay of enforcement. I guess I'll seek legal counsel as to how do we record that vote, Mrs. McSherry?
It would be recorded as city affirmed because the majority did not add the 180 day stay proviso.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Ms. Rosado, you've lost your appeal. You may appeal. Did she leave?
No, she's there.
Oh, okay. Ms. Rosado, you've lost your appeal. You may appeal our decision. If you need information as to how to do that, the decision letter that you will receive in the mail will have a phone number of the office administrator's office on it. Call them. They will tell you what you will need to do to appeal a decision of the board. Thank you very much for your participation and your cooperation.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good day. Okay, Mr. Wade, what do we have next? All the witnesses in this matter are excused.
That was the last matter.
Oh, it was. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your participation.
Ms. Stiles, you never entered your exhibits.
Oh, I asked to move those exhibits into the record. City exhibit A through, I believe it's J.
Our exhibits A through J are moved for admission to the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, there is someone on the call under the name Kemi Phone. I don't know if that person is just sitting
Yes.
and observing, or
Yeah.
if they're.
Yes, 6205 Jefferson. I logged in late, but I've been in it since everything was done. I'm here.
Moot.
That matter was recorded as moot. That means it's resolved for today. Okay, so
what do I need to do?
you don't have to do anything, but if you want information about that, call the administrator's office. So we did not hold a hearing on that matter today because it was noted as moot by the law department.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay. Alrighty. I think that's it. We're now off the record. Thank you very much, Ms. Clark, for your support today.